see over this weekend that there's like so much amazing like LGBTQA plus talent that does an incredible job. And in addition, I
Mm.
just think these safe spaces can be needed because this could be somebody's like first steps into feeling comfortable competing under like their true identity, and eventually that can lead to them competing in an open environment as well.
Speaking of people doing an amazing job, Mugi, you have been in this community as a staff member for a very long time. What does it mean to you to see this tournament take place and have LGBTQ plus representation?
Well, to me personally, it means so much because I grew up in a world where we're seeing LGBTQ plus people um in media and out was like wasn't very prevalent. Like when I growing up, like I always thought that marriage was between a man and a woman. Like I didn't really know that gay marriage was a thing even. Like I didn't really know
Mm.
that was a thing because it was illegal for so long in the United States until I was older, and so it was something I wasn't exposed to, and so having representation and seeing people that are like me, because I am, at least I think I am, Arrow and Ace, and I'm also identify as a demigirl. So seeing
Mm.
people that identify the same as me and are similar in many ways to me, it means a lot, especially because I live in a community where there's not a it's a very conservative community, so this stuff isn't like widely talked about.
Yeah. So having an online community where you have several people that are just normal human beings and you see that they are a bi, gay, lesbian as well, is really great.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's loving to
Mhm.
figure out more about who I am as a person. It's allowed me to figure out more of who I am, figure out who I am really. Because
Mm.
before, especially because of the pandemic, like I spending a lot of time online, so I couldn't see my friends in person, and like being online, and because I joined Altiora during the pandemic, since I believe that's when it was founded. But correct me if I'm wrong, Fabian, on that.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Okay, I
It
wanted
was
to be
founded
sure.
founded back in 2020.
Yeah, so I joined back then. Um, and so it's been nice to just have because I've been able to create so many friends and like they've been able to help me through a lot of tough times. And what's even funner is them reacting to seeing me get older.
That's
It's
because
really
you being
funny.
older scares us all.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is because I'm 17. I joined and I was 15.
Yeah.
So, like, seeing them be like, "No, you can't be getting older." It's really funny, and it just makes my day so much better. Honestly, just
To us,
being a part of this
more,
community makes me so happy, and just makes my day so much better. Honestly,
more or less like to us, you will always stay child.
you're
Yeah,
not wrong.
no.
Yeah, okay, no, but I'm glad to see you grow and to see wherever life will take you from here on out. And um, next up, the next panel is gonna be a few games. Finally, the first game for this weekend. So let me just quickly explain to you the format we're playing in. We're playing in a double elimination tournament, and the streamed games on day one will be the first game, the upcoming match between The Misery and Tales of the North. And then Cat Drinking Soda versus the winner of Mint's Money Crow versus Beep. And that will be it for game day number one in EU. But look out for later on, we will have an A division as well, hosted by the one and only Brixie Cakes at 3 a.m. CEST or 9 p.m. EST. So you don't want to miss that as well. And without further ado, I think it's time. Here's the first match between The Misery and Tales of the North with your casters, Jace and Loki.
Hello, everyone.
Oh,
I am super excited to be here. I will be your play-by-play for this match, The Misery versus Tales of the North. Joining me on this cast is Loki. Loki, I'll allow you to introduce yourself.
hi. I am Loki. I'm so excited to be here today. Charity does great work. Everything about it is wonderful, and I am so excited to show off these teams that we have coming up right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think particularly the Misery have some recognizable players through the scene, sponsored by Pachamari as well. But honestly, yeah, all the teams competing in this event, I'm super excited to see them here, super excited to see them representing themselves. Pride is, to me, such an important thing because just fundamentally, I believe that everyone should be allowed to express themselves to their fullest and to just be their true person. And it's something that, without ranting and making this about myself, 'cause it's absolutely not today, it's about everyone in this community. It's something that I've struggled with my own identity over the years, and it's difficult, but I'm really grateful to communities like Altiora that exist and allow people to find themselves and to realize that they're not alone in this world, and there are plenty of others like them. Especially, for example, Mugi mentioned they're in a community that is quite conservative, and it's just so important, and I can't really stress that enough. But nonetheless, all of that aside, I'm excited to get into the Overwatch that we've seen today. 6v6 still, not 5v5 yet. So we're not quite over the hill and into the sunset yet, are we, Loki? But for today, I'm still expecting some nice shenanigans as we get into the Pride Cup, as we said. Tales of the North versus the Misery. What is your opening prediction going into this game?
Ooh.
Who do you think favors?
I mean, it's so hard not to go with Misery here, honestly. They got some recognized players, and hey, you can't say no to Bad Pachamari sponsoring the squad there. I personally am very, very excited to see them. Extraordinarily, wonderfully gay team, as it should be, I would add.
Yeah,
For those of you that don't know, every single player in this tournament is LGBT plus in some way, shape, or form. So welcome to all of them. For those of you wanting representation in esports, here you go. We have a wonderful presentation set up for you right now.
yeah, absolutely. This is as diverse as it gets. Everyone here. Just to go over the teams quickly, we've got CJ less than three and AFAQ on the tanks. Pandy, who I recognise, a long-time friend. I coached her back in Team Speed Boost back in the day. Nice to see that she's popped up on the stream. Good friend of mine. She's on the DPS this time. It's crazy on the flex support, but she's electing to go back to comfort and I think more favoured role at the moment. On the Sombra and the DPS, Mini, Coffee, and Furby round out the Misery, hoping to compile the Misery onto Tales of the North. And for Tales of the North, Mangarissimo, Crazy Core, Slaughty. I'm going to mispronounce all of these, by the way. Slaughtybot, Valfreya, Sweet Saber, and Pizza Bullet are going to round out that team. In terms of competitions, well, we shall see. It looks like it's Brawl versus Ball composition, so it's all going to be about really how the ball can engage, because they've got a lot of damage, the Misery's composition, but it comes with the Discord Orb and the Discord Orb only. This hamster's going to be rolling through to the high ground, trying to take that initial position, but Valfrey TP's up, trying to force them off. Once again, it's all about the jostle for position, and Tales of the North are going to back up into Hooker, but they lose 3 Saber early. That's their Diva. So many defensive resources gone. Valfrey, though, manages to trade it back, taking down that Tracer. That's no flanker. That the first one falls in the Pride tournament, fitting that it is one of the openly LGBT characters in the tournament. But the Misery find 2, and I think they managed to collapse. 2 turns into 4 quickly. Tales of the North fall down, and that's the fight for the Misery.
Yeah, great fight by them. And you see there, CJ, it really comes down to them with a lot of what they do here against this Brawl tournament. That's why we call it Ball Comp. It able to go through, getting those boops, and then setting up those slams for the Furby's Discord is that huge play there. Once that Discord is on, it is almost impossible for someone to live through it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just nothing that they can do. Tales of the North composition, it thrives on sustain, but the amount of damage and the pincer that can come in from the Misery is just so good. Look at the minefield coming in from CJ as well. Mini is on the back there, on the angle. Pandy follows in tow as well. Coffee manages to just walk in with that Brigitte, that left click's the Inspire, keeping them oh so healthy. Tales of the North get cornered, and they get taken down very, very quick.
And that is how this comp wants to run. Misery here wanting to go for that speed. They want to keep Pizza off of the backline. Furby can't get away, neither can Coffee. And so if Tales of the North can sustain in for more than just a moment, and oh, this EMP catches everyone.
A huge EMP from Pandy was snuck in the invis and managed to pop it right behind them. There was nothing to do. There was no defensive ultimates available to counter, but they wouldn't have even lived that long anyway. As soon as it went down, the Misery compiled onto Tales of the North now. 65% on the board for them, and they've still got both defensive ultimates. This opening ball composition looking very, very good so far.
Yeah, talk about speed. Pandy not even waiting for them to get to point. They want to take that fight in rotation, and when no one on North is ready for it, 6-man EMP.
We're starting to see the Diva Bomb come in as well. It only managed to force the Lamp, but Cozy Core gets traded back thanks to Furby, and then that's the go button. No Lamp, no sustain. The Misery continue to just walk in onto them. Pandy and Mini both doing a great job. In particular, Pandy, she's been so quick with those EMP charges as well. And Furby, I mean, they've been admittedly uncontested, but you still have to hit your shots on the Zenyatta, and absolutely that is what Furby is doing. Been a backbone, and it's last fight. They have to scramble to the point. Valfrey goes in, but it is too little, too late, and with a 100% to 14, the Misery kind of walk round one, and they take the Hanging Gardens of Babylon on Oasis first round.
Yeah, I mean, you really just have to look at the understanding of the comp there. The entire team of Misery doing such a good job of understanding, what's our win con this time? How do we want to pace ourselves and really finding that initial dive in? And I don't know that too many fights went longer than that initial dive. They're getting so much value off of it. And for that, look at CJ, look at Pandy, and Furby especially, her in the back line putting out tons of damage.
Yeah, absolutely. The domino effect for Misery needs to get going, but once one falls, they all fall afterwards. It's just about finding that initial dive. If they can find the first collapse, if they can find the first pick, then they've got a man advantage that they can then circle over into cleaning up the rest of Tales of the North. And that's exactly what they're doing so far. We're just waiting on the go button, honestly, from CJ to come in. Do they manage to find it? They get the pick onto the Mercy, thanks to Mini. Great pick from them so far. That's no Mercy, that's no res, so the Pharah should fall any second now as they do. Pandy pops out of the invis just to clean that one up, and it wasn't even the ball this time, it was the flankers, it was the DPS of the Misery to be able to get it and secure first cap for them on Oasis round 2.
Yeah, I've really liked this change, honestly, from Tales of the North. By throwing that far out, it might give, Pizza Bullet and that tank line a little bit more space to advance, because someone's going to have to be focusing the Pharah. Whether it's, AFK or Pandy or Mimi, it's going to take something away from these amazing dives.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they can focus the Pharah, then it will slow the game down a little bit, and that's exactly what Slark needs to do with that Pharah. Slow the game down, but unfortunately the Misery, they just keep playing at a fantastically high-paced tempo. That's the minefield that comes in. That Reinhardt stuck between a rock and a hard-paced Pizza Bullet cannot go anywhere, and then the rest of the team flood in. They've done this time and time again, this entire map. One goes down and all of them fall afterwards. The bell rings for a team kill. Tales of the North, though, looks like they've got some resources finally coming up online to try and kick back, but they got to go into an EMP from Pandy.
Yeah, this EMP, we saw the last one. Look for Pandy trying to take this one close before this Pharah really gets way up into this skybox. They're able to get all 6 people. If they wait for too long, and there it is! No patience on this man! Or, I apologize. Actually, no, yeah, man. They use any, wait, no. I am so sorry. Pronoun sheets are hard. She is insane.
It's alright. It's something that definitely I think a lot of us casters aren't used to, but hey, this is a great tournament to practice, and this is a great tournament to get it going. Pandy's EMP, whilst they fell, she hit the nail on the head. That was a 5-man EMP. Absolutely magnificent there, and as I said, the rest of them just managed to pile in. Coffee's got ready to go. The only thing I think that Tales of the North can really do here is find a big barrage. That's no Sombra going in, so a lot of utility missing. The Misery just go first, and they go better. This is going to be a 100-0 by the looks of it. They basically 6-0 sweep that team fight, and they take map 1.
Something I want to point out there is how well Coffee is also pacing this team. No one's really getting a chance to go on Furby. Oh, Pandy pops in, steals the play of the game, and you see the right there. With this, they're able to push this team out so fast because of what Coffee is doing, because of all the space that the DPS are making. No one is ever looking at Furby. She is just safe in the backline, able to put out all of this damage. 22 offensive participation. That's almost half of the kills in the game. Insane performance from the Misery right now. They are really bringing the Misery to Beep.
Yeah, Arcane bat chest. I'm just going to say that. Their dive was just good. Their engages were so clean. They have a fundamental understanding of the composition that they are playing, and it's very hard to do. It's very hard to get down. And considering as well, I want to throw a bit of plaudits out. This is the Pride Cup event. This is not Open Division Grand Finals. These teams have come together to celebrate their individuality, and they've got to try and work together as a unit. And they're playing such a difficult comp like the ball, but they're playing it really, really well.
They really are. They seem to just be incredibly coordinated. And like that's what we really love to see is with that ball comp, your timing has to be so perfect. Your ball has to hit, and right as they do, you need that tracer right there, and you need the Discord orb off. Because if they hit the ground without getting a pick, now your ball is slammed in against a full brawl comp with CC and damage to bear. And right now, every single person has their timing down perfectly.
Absolutely. For the side of Tales of the North, there is things that they can do to adapt and change up. I'm not a big fan of the Reinhardt and the Pharmacy in combo. They just fundamentally, I think, want to do different things. There is always something to be said about comfort picks. I think particularly when we looked at the preview for this match, the SR difference between both of these teams is, I believe, actually over 500, maybe even over 700 as well. So if the sheets are correct, of course, obviously one of them has put themselves down as 5 KSR, so it's not going to be totally accurate. But in terms of overall, comfort picks definitely still valuable in a tournament like this because you need to be able to dedicate as much brain power as you can to coordinating with the rest of your team. I think that's so important, but unfortunately those comfort picks were being punished by the Misery, who were playing a flat composition of 6 synergistic heroes, and particularly when they're playing them at such a high level, it's nearby impossible to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I say at the end of the day, what matters most is you enjoy what you're playing on and you feel good about it. But if it's just not working, really need to see swaps. And that's what we look to the DPS players a lot of the time for, is for them to bring that flexibility to those comps, to rotate around the pace, to change the way that we want to see it. And there, it just wasn't the flexibility that we want to see, based around the tanks, able to get that pacing a little bit faster, maybe a little bit more, CC to get out the ball, perhaps. That time we just weren't really seeing it up in the north.
No, Tales of the North definitely need to do some adapting, but they're going to be able to because they've got a little bit of time now. So we're going to head over to a quick break before we get into map 2 and to forward. Don't go anywhere. Altiora Pride Cup 2022. Right back, 5 or 10 minutes. See you later. And welcome back. We are back from a quick break to sort some issues, and now we're ready to go. We're going to be going into map 2 of day 1 of the Altiora Pride Cup 2022. The Misery find themselves 1-0 up against Tales of the North. We're going to be heading into, I believe, map pick for Tales of the North. We'll get that to you any second. Once they've figured it and essentially sorted it out. My name is Jace. I'll be your play-by-play for today, and joining me once again is Loki. Loki, what do you think Tales of the North can do if they can make one big change? If you were to sort of go into the Discord VC and tell them if there's one thing to adjust, what would be your biggest piece of advice for them as they look to try and bounce back from map 2?
Throw a lot more resources into that dive. That's where, that very first dive is where this ball comes getting all of their value. We don't see them going for a lot of second passes. The Misery's, first dive is key. Tales from the North, I want to see a lot more value put into that. Run the May, run the Cassidy, the boring heroes that make the work done. There's a reason why we see them played a lot, if you're trying to play that Brawl comp, because it removes the ability for the ball to exist inside of your team at all. And if that's the case, none of those DPS are going to be able to break in just by themselves. No discords getting on your, onto your Rhine or onto your Baptiste, even worse. And it just makes your life a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you know that they're going to roll out on a ball composition, ball as a hero is, I always use the word premeditated. I think you know what the ball is going to do. It is not an adaptable hero. Something like Winston, for example, that traditional dive tank, right? You could go forward, but you could also go back and protectively bubble your own backline. Wrecking Ball can't do that. They have to go in at max 10 and he has to slam onto the backline, does that 600 HP hamster. So use that, abuse that. Play Brigitte, play Moira, play Cassidy, play May, play Reinhardt, play Diva, and just soak the damage, because once that initial burst comes in, there's nothing left in the tank for Misery, and then that's when you have the advantage in the fight. But unfortunately, that's easier said than done for Tales of the North. So let's see what they're going to go with. Looks like Misery have chosen the side for this time as Tales of the North take us to Route 66. It's going to be a defense hold, as it looks like it's probably going to be Briggs then from the defense. I can just tell by the HP bars there. Yeah, so it's a bit more of a spam-focused ball defense coming in for the Misery, who are going to play a bit more with these sight lines and these angles in the neutral fights.
Yeah, not surprised by Misery here, wanting to control that high ground. Those long sight lines can put so much pressure on the back line. Tales of the North here making a good change, that May, and then removing a whole lot of worry about the back line. Cozy Core going to be able to put so much more, burst healing as that Moira, and not really super diveable because they can just fade out of whatever it needs to be. So look for Tales of the North here to play this really fast, to take those up close quick fights, trying to run over Coffee and Furby.
Yeah, absolutely. The Discord Orb is going to be, once again, just the win condition for Furby. This Tales of the North comp is very, very sustainable. It's got a lot of healing over time alongside personal survivability cooldowns. Once those goes away, then the Discord Orb will come in. We're going to get an early slam that comes in from CJ's the Dynamite as well. This is just the poke phase, really, of the fight that comes in. But luckily, Tales of the North have managed to wrap themselves up to the high ground. This is where they want to go. They are inside. They are unable to take the poke, the angles. As I say that, Pandy managed to find a cheeky pick through the shield onto Valfreya. That's the Reaper, so that's so much tank pressure gone down. Someone that could basically three-tap the ball has been sent back to the spawn room, but they run onto AFK. Can they find him? The Mayfreeze is going to be coming up. It looks like they do. They drop off the high ground as Mini manages to clean up Pizza Bullet as well. They got the initial rotation, Loki, but I think the Misery just played that second stretch too good. The minefield already online for CJ, and that is the nail in the coffin for this fight.
Yeah, AFQ, they're doing an amazing job of keeping everyone out. But something I want to take a look at, look where Mini's been positioned this entire fight. Just a thorn in the backside, keeping Tales of the North from being able to fully commit to going in. Mimi on this Tracer is a menace.
They're doing so much work, just being able to pincer and find all of the picks that they do. Oh, cursed it. Slot takes down Mini. That's a great pick from her on the May. Blizzard coming up online for them as well. That's going to be so good to be able to zone and really deny this Wrecking Ball and their engages. Unfortunately, AFKQ on the high ground. Got the Flux. Manages to find, I believe, just a Zari, but that might be all that they need. The bubbles and the backloaded damage that's coming in means there is no massive DPS threat late into this fight. And once the tank is gone, Well, Tales of the North, they're playing Overwatch 2, but the Misery, they're still playing Overwatch 1, 6v5 in the fight. But CJ falls down. That's once again 5v5 with the respawns coming in, so Tales of the North have got the opportunity to take their own 6v5 any second now. And if the Misery, they want to stay in this fight, they're going to have to commit resources, and it looks like they do. They go in with the minefield, they go in with the pulse bomb, and that's going to be all she wrote for this fight. So it costs them a lot of ultimates and a lot of time off the clock, but the Misery still get the hold.
Yeah, Misery here playing it amazing, taking advantage of this high ground, knowing that Tales of the North either has to commit to cart or to running off that high ground and clearing it. And so Misery is just happy to let them do that. Pandy there putting out an amazing amount of damage, getting that Bob up especially, which gives time for CJ to come back. Just the ability of rotation and committal from the Misery right now is wonderful to see.
Yeah, Pandy is doing so much work. Sans a Mercy Pocket, something that you traditionally see with an Ashe, but she's just getting the heavy lifting done anyway. The Discord Orb and the Dynamite is all she needs to put plenty of people away from Tales of the North when that Ashe has got the gun locked and loaded. Speaking of, that's another pick from the DPS, the Ashe, the side of the Misery. Gonna be saying your name all series on, I can absolutely tell, because just popping off it on the Ashe, yes, uncontested, but still hitting those shots, finding those picks, finding those gaps. And that rotation, yet again, it's one that goes awry for Tales of the North. They just can't quite manage to grasp on the payload and stick it.
Look at this. Pandy, she has charged up a bomb just about every fight at this point. And as we're trending down here, that ult line for the Misery just continues to find more and more check marks. Rally here means they can take a brawl if they want to. Oh no, Signal Lift in the air. They're not going to get the beat off.
No, they don't decide to go with it. I think that was probably your last fight. That was probably the chance to use it. I think that's probably a mistake, definitely a mistake to hold it there. That flux was gargantuan from AFKQ. Coffee's rally as well keeps them nice and healthy because they were expecting the beat to come down and they were expecting a fight to ensue, and they just didn't. A little bit of hesitation, unfortunately, from Mango really cost them hits. 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left. CJ just going to mine the payload to make it oh so difficult for anyone to walk in. Slee has the Graviton Surge. Will they decide to use it? Going to be holding onto it now. Still 70 energy. Finally ripped. It doesn't manage to find anyone. As everyone falls down around the Zarya, they were the last to die alongside Slob there on the Tracer. And fancies some excellent cooldown rotations. And honestly, some amazing individual picks from Pandy and Mini there. The Misery once again secure a very dominant full hold on map 2.
Misery here just continuing to show that, you know, team comp, game knowledge, understanding, recognizing the pace at which they need to play at, recognizing where they need to take their fights in that kill box, the control of the high ground really being, you know, the separating factor here. AFK, they are the true person to look forward to that. Thank them if you want to thank anyone. Doing an amazing job at keeping everyone, you know, safe, ready to go, giving all of the space that Pandy could ever want.
Yeah.
As
absolutely.
Misery is swapping to Brawl now. Spicy.
I think so. This is obviously there on the attack, so they won't need to hard commit to it as much. But on the flip side, Tales in the North definitely struggling in this series so far. We said coming in that they were lesser experienced and lower in SR as well. So that was, they were going to be underdogs. They were going to be on the uphill battle for them, and they sort of got it with that first fight. They managed to take a really nice high ground rotation through the train car onto it, but losing the Reaper of Valfreya meant that they didn't really want to go forward. I think they got really, their confidence got really rocked there by it, and they should have just carried going on. The targets were always going to be Coffee and Furby. They should have been, but after that first fight, they never seemed to really be able to touch them yet again. It's going to be an interesting composition, very individual. Is Tales of the North comp, a lot of heroes that fundamentally exist and thrive on their own, but they're going to be walking right into a tight room against the Mei. Can Mini get the wall to punish him? That's going to be a pin straight onto Pizza Bullet. They did not check. CJ just presses shift and finds a team fight. That's such a quick ace. That's a 6-man wipe for the Miseries. They're going to look to roll this in and snowball it for a very quick map completion.
Yeah, Misery here just playing so utterly confident. No hesitation in that brawl. We saw, you know, CJ, early shatter as well, gonna pick up one. They don't even want them to touch the card. They want to take the fight here.
Yeah, they're just going to go all the way through, not even allow them the chance to walk in. It's a tighter choke point. I don't mind it. Mini's wall coming in. You can't really contest it for Tales of the North because you don't have a Mei in yourself. They're just going to park 2 on the payload. One of them can just fly to the fight in half a second anyway. I think one more person comes in. They might not even need it as they're holding off everyone from spawn. And the Misery find themselves on match point after a very, very quick 2 maps in, playing so well. Tales of the North just not able to adapt, not able to change, and not able to stand up to the pure mechanical prowess that the Misery are really showing.
Yeah, the Misery here just so utterly confident. Look at CJ here, no fear. They know they're gonna get that ammo at the end of this play, and so they just charge in. That is pure trust in your backline, knowing that Furby has got your back, and it shows here the amount of trust that the Misery have in each other, the confidence that they're playing with, the spacing that they're playing with. Didn't even get to a lot of the analyst stuff because they decided we're taking the next fight right now.
Yeah. Absolutely. It shows the sign, I think, of any experienced and good player when they go with it, no hesitation. It might look grief, but CJ knows that they are absolutely safe to charge in there, and shift in they do. Straight into that tight room. They know that if they back out too far, the Mei wall of Mini is going to cover their exit, so they either have to break the wall behind them or walk into the Reinhardt. And well, they walked into a tight room against a Reinhardt, guys. There's not really too much I can say there, unfortunately. And that was just a quick and easy death for the Misery as they take it. Is it first to 2 or is it first to 3? I'm actually
First to 2
not sure.
threes initial rounds, I believe.
I think it is. I mean, as the graphic on screen, as we can see
Yeah,
it there, the Misery
trust
take
the graphics.
Trust the graphic. Hashtag trust the graphic. The Misery take a very clean and quick 2-0. Just a difference in skill level, unfortunately. But for Tales of the North, they're not down, they're not out. They're going to get a chance to go into the lower bracket and play some more Overwatch. And most importantly, have some more fun and really enjoy the Pride event that's being hosted. And ultimately, in terms of results aside, that's way more important. I believe we might get an interview with someone from the Misery or someone from Tales of the North. I'm not quite sure, but we've got a little bit of time to kill before the next match. So, Tales of the North, as they go into the lower bracket, Loki, once again, what can they do? What can they adjust? What did you like? What were the glimpses of hope, of copium from that game that they think they can ride into the lower bracket as they hopefully play some teams around their skill level?
I think when they, ran through their abilities and were confident in their brawl, no hesitation. They played really, really well. When they used that Mei, for example, as a little bit of buffer space and then just ran forward. That's when they played their best. When they were utterly confident, no hesitation. It doesn't matter what we've lost, doesn't matter what we've spent. That's where we saw them, pick up a little bit, getting that run on the back line when they chose to win the fight before looking to secure the objective. That was the main, difference maker there. I think it really just comes down to, they got to be a little bit more confident with their Reinhardt, with their brawl, with everything. Just send it, have fun.
Yes, I was absolutely going to say that. If in doubt, just send it. That aggression, that increase in tempo, even if it's something you're not quite ready to go with, you're not quite comfortable with, can outmatch and can outmuscle any team that's more experienced than you because they're not used to it as well. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing and expecting different results. Before we throw it to a break, trying to say thank you. I believe that is from this stream in the bottom. I've seen that $100 donation thanks to Mama Shimada. Mama Shimada, very active in the Castles and Castles community, D&D live role-playing show, which features everyone from a bunch of communities. I believe one of their new shows called Shush is essentially all LGBTQIA cast. It's a very diverse, very represented show, and honestly amazing. Mama Shimada, great member of that community and continuing to spread the love across Altiora. So thank you, Mama, goated. But for now, we're going to throw it to a quick break as Citrus comes on the desk. We discuss that map, we discuss that game, and we discuss the next couple of ones and the event so far. So once again, 5 minutes on the timer. Grab a drink, grab a snack, whatever. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in 5. Take care.
Welcome back, everybody. From the break, I'm here with Jace, Loki, and Furby for an interview. Furby, it was a very quick match, so how are you feeling after that one?
I mean, it feels good. It's knowing the like going into the game, kind of what kind of SR people were around. It was kind of expected, but it's still good to see that we could finish it off pretty well.
Jace, Loki, do you have any questions?
I do. My first question, the most important one, is there anyone you personally want to shout out that you want to give, kudos to, say thank you for their play or anything coming into this? Who would you like to
Well,
mention?
everyone on the team, I think we all simp for Mini. Mini is just a little too good at the game. They're gonna have to get my my sort of seal of approval here. They're a really good player.
Mini was so good on that Tracer
Yeah.
in particular. I guess he was just a little bit during the break, but are you guys, are you as a team confident with this Wrecking Ball composition, which obviously you know, and a lot of you on the team will know because you've sort of scrimmed at the higher levels in all kinds of teams. The board composition is really hard to play and it's really hard to perfect. So how are you feeling with that board composition going into some teams that are going to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging as you progress through the tournament? How confident are you on this composition as you hopefully try and get deeper into the bracket?
It's kind of hard to say, I guess. It's from our scrim experience. The first times we scrimmed with this comp, it felt kind of weird, but after we got like more to know each other, I feel like we just kind of quickly improved on this comp. I know me and CJ, we both feel really comfortable on Zenyatta and Ball. Like specifically, I think like everyone just feels comfortable in the roles that they play in the comp, so it kind of works out on an individual base. And it is a comp that you need teamwork, but it's not one of these comps like Brawl and where you're running as 6 people. But it is hard to manage the engages and stuff like that. But I think it works out quite well with our individual just character pools.
So you know each other for a little bit longer, if I heard that correctly. So
Yes.
I mean, it was. You could see that in your coordination, especially on Aces on the first round. You're basically pile driving into the enemy team and then having everybody up in the air, the EMP coming afterwards, and then on top of that, using a pulse bomb to finish a few people off as well. That was just amazing to see. Before I'm gonna ask you, my question is, we have a donation that raised us to $110 from CJ less than 3. And they said, donating to make up for my feeding Reinhardt gameplay that people are gonna have to watch in the future games. Love conquers all, less than 3. Very based, so thank you for the $10 donation. It's greatly appreciated. And Furby, my question is, you are sponsored by Bad Pachimari, so how did you reach out to them? How was basically your conversation with them for this sponsoring?
So it started, me and another friend who's not actually on the roster right now decided that we were going to make a team, and we reached out to CJ, and it was kind of like we didn't really know exactly how the sponsoring worked, and he was like, oh, it's probably just ask someone to do the sponsor, and CJ was just like instantly like, oh, let's ask Bad Pachimari, like just because they're a content creator that we all like, at least most of the people on the team. I don't think there's anyone dislikes, but I don't know if everyone is too familiar with them. But they just reached out, and they seemed keen on doing it. They right off the bat they said that they were interested, and it was really cool. It was our interactions with them have been nice.
That sounds awesome. Jace, Loki, any more questions?
I wanted to ask, sorry, just quickly, who came up with the branding? Because Stalwart, Philly Fusion, Copenhagen BP. Feels like the misery is a little bit of a representation of what it feels like to be a Philadelphia fan right now. I believe they've just gone 0-2 in Overwatch League this week. So smoking that puck watch for them, unfortunately. Rip bozos. But in all seriousness, besides of flaming the Fusion, which is absolutely one of my favorite pastimes, I like the branding and who came up with the whole idea of that. Who put the roster
I-
together as well? Like, how did that formation of the team and branding come about? Just quickly.
So with the branding, I think we were just brainstorming random stuff that we could use, and I think just memes in general were something that we were looking at, right? Another name that we were thinking of, because we had Bad Pachimori as the thing. We were thinking of the Pachimisery, but we made maybe
that's
a
good.
little too corny. But then
I
with
like
the with the roster building, so it was me and another person. I asked CJ, and then since CJ is a former or already teammate with Afa and Coffee, it was just natural to ask them. And then we reached out to Pandy through an LFT post, and then Pandy knew Mini already, and I also knew Mini from before, and it kind of just got along pretty quickly, and it was played pretty fast. It was nice.
I'm excited to see where you guys go. Mini has definitely been getting a lot of hype. Had a quick couple of Discord messages with Pandy, and they're like, "Keep hyping up Mini." So we will continue to do that clearly to show off all the talent over here. And Mini's getting a lot of hype, so we'll continue to do that absolutely. I just best of luck in the rest of the bracket, honestly.
Yeah, I think Mini is doing a perfectly good job of hyping themselves up at the moment. Something I will say that we saw there at the end when y'all were playing Brawl, CJ just utterly throwing it in, and you backing him up and making sure that they keep going. Is that typical of how that usually goes, or?
Well, CJ is a very aggressive main tank player, sometimes to their own detriment, but we try to support it as much as we can. Obviously, a lot of it is in my hands playing the Baptiste. Sometimes, maybe there's not something I can do always, but we try to play around CJ's aggressive playstyle a lot.
All right. If there are no more questions, then Furby, thank you very much for this very in-depth interview. It was honestly a joy to listen to your explanations.
Thank you for having me. It was nice being here.
Thank you, Furby.
All right, and with that concludes the interview. And Jace, Loki, I want you to break down this game with me a little more. Even though it was very fast, and in between the breaks you already attempted to do a little bit of analysis. But before we do that, I want to just shout out the charity again, that we are raising money for the LGBT Freedom Fund. LGBTQ Freedom Fund, I think. Wait, the name is confusing me. But yes, LGBTQ Freedom Fund. Yes, I always forget if there's a Q in the end, but obviously there is, because
$50 donation. Sorry, Citrus, cut you off there. I just thought.
That just donation came in as well, so don't worry about cutting me off. I'm gonna look at that right now. So. It is from Chub Chiller. Thank you very much for your donation. And they say, I love this tournament idea. This is amazing. Keep it up. Thank you very much for your donation. And this is going to help a ton for the LGBTQ Freedom Fund to, as you can see in the description about this campaign over our Titify link, that you can also find in the Twitch chat over !charity. That this is to secure safety and liberty for people in jail and immigration detention, with a focus on LGBTQ individuals. So, talking about breaking down this game, it was very fast, as we said before, which was also a little bit expected, as we said, because the difference in SR is quite high, but that doesn't really matter if the team is playing very well together. So technically, a lower SR team can be on a higher level as their normal SR is throughout their gameplay and throughout their just team play, and they can perform on a high level. But what did the Misery do so well that Tales of the North didn't really have a chance to even touch the payload?
I mean, I think the biggest one that really comes down to is just the speed out of the misery.
Mhm.
We saw them, taking fights in rotation is really that big thing, hitting that Ryan comp, hitting any comp before it gets set up, forcing them to have an uncomfortable fight, and then taking that kill box into somewhere where it works amazing for you and utterly terrible for the other team. Misery doing a really good job of finding that. And then we saw again with those amazing EMPs that there wasn't any waiting. They kept the pace up. They always kept the momentum going. There was never a sitting and resting. It was always looking for that next hit, looking for that next fight, looking for that next win, and setting themselves up really well to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, just the individual mechanical prowess on a composition like that ball dive is really able to shine through quite easily. Sort of the big elephant in the room that we didn't really discuss is they sort of counterpick themselves, did Tales of the North. That ball composition historically really beats up on the rush compositions because the rush composition is the weakest in rotation and they have to rotate along a set path. The ball comes in, displaces them from that path, spreads them out, pulls them apart, knocks them outside of the Lucio aura, outside of the Moira range for the healing, for example, and then that's when they're a lot weaker. That's where they're burstable with the Discord applied as well. That core, the Tracer, the ball, and the Zenyatta of that composition, CJ, Mini, and Furby all played their parts so well, and it really shut down fights before they were even allowed to happen. The staging process for that broad composition was just not up to scratch. They were a little bit too slow, and that means that the board composition had all the time in the world to punish. Honestly, Loki basically said it. It's a longer explanation of exactly what Loki said. They essentially just did it faster. What they were doing, they played a higher tempo, and the broad composition of Tales of the North got ran off the park because of it. Not too much they could do, unfortunately, and that's what it's like when you go up against a really mechanically skilled set of individuals that know how to play a board composition. It's really rough to play against.
Yeah.
So we had speed and the composition. I'm sorry, Loki. We had speed and the composition. So, to be fair though, Tales of the North did try to play a Mei in the very beginning of Oasis, and it didn't really work out for them. Also, I want to ask you, Loki, the Misery played Zenyatta and Brick as their support lineup. People that don't know Overwatch for that long, that haven't played Overwatch for a very long time, or aren't on a very high SR level, would think that normally this lineup, Brick, Zenyatta, could possibly not be as good as any lineup with a main support like a Ana or a Moira or a Mercy. So why does this lineup work so well for the Misery?
So that the focal point for it is really just the Zen. We hear that comp called ball comp a lot of the time. At the end of the day, it's really Zen comp. Zen is who makes that work, and it's because of that Discord, that 30% damage boost. And so with that, you have to figure out how to keep your Zen up. And so throwing in a Brick for that means that, they have protection from dive. Once you have a pick or two, you can go installing like that Inspire uptime so that you can just like run out and close your fights really well. And normally you do want a little bit more healing just because you have to keep your team up somehow. When you're running, Tracer, Sombra, Ball, and then either Diva or Sigma, these are people who take care of themselves. Ball can go find packs and has a shield. Tracer has recall. Sombra has their own, little teleport going on. And so at that point, why invest in more healing when you don't need it? When instead you can just invest in putting resources into this Zenyatta and getting that huge Discord off.
Absolutely. One of the ways that composition can fall down, a flimsy composition can fall down, is by an extended poke phase, where before the fight begins, both teams sort of just trading damage at each other. But board compositions don't do that, do they, Loki? They just go in, they slam, they engage at breakneck speeds, and they manage to look for a pick to uneven the fight. Absolutely, I do agree with that. I think historically, actually, if you look at it, I think almost every dive composition has been built around their flex support, and it's just the adaptation. It's the nano boost with the Ana that can come onto the Winston. It is the Transcendence that comes in to stop the Genji blade, to stop the nano blade, and now it's the Discord orbs that are coming in combo with the ball. As we move into Overwatch 2, I think flex supports will still be as powerful because one less tank means there's just more space for the Zenyatta to do things.
And speaking of which, do you think DPS will be as impactful in Overwatch 2 as well? Or do you think after the beta that their damage has been a little bit, nerfed and other roles are a little bit stronger now?
What do you think? Loki?
So I would argue that with Overwatch 2, with it being 5v5, with there not being, someone whose basically entire job is to peel and to set up other plays, that individual plays matter so much more. And being able to kind of pocket yourself and take care of your own little game matters so much more. That's why we see the supports that are working well, are ones that can duel. And that's why we see the DPS that are doing well, or a lot of that, Tracer, Soldier, Sojourn, people with mobility who can take care of themselves and find their own entry. And so with that, I don't know that any position is less important than it was before. I think everything is way more important because personal play matters that much more. One pick, I think based on the stats from the Overwatch League, if you get the first pick, you win like 90% of your fights right now compared to like 75 in Overwatch 2 or Overwatch 1, just because personal play and those personal effects matter so much more. So I don't know that anyone is worth any less in Overwatch 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just statistics, right? If you take down someone from 5, you lose 20% of your team. And if that 20% is your tank, your one tank, you're absolutely in trouble, aren't you? So I do wonder how we're going to see it progress. I think right now, just to quickly theorize, I think we're definitely in more of a, I want to call it almost primal state. A lot of the players relying more individually on mechanics and the ability to outplay, as opposed to what we saw with Double Shield and Goats and the progression of Overwatch 1, where it was very macro and cooldown focused. I'm sure as the game gets solved a bit more, we're going to see a return to cooldown rotations and combos. But for now, it's just Sojourn diff, it's Zen diff, it's Sigma diff every game, and the best Sojourns are completely running the Overwatch League over and are doing so much work. Sparker, Flora, Fitz, for example, absolutely just dominating all over the world. And I like to see it because we've seen double shields, we've seen Goats, a lot of heavy sustain-based compositions for so long, and it's not something that I think the average Overwatch League fan, the average Overwatch fan, really gets enjoyment out from, and it's absolutely better for the production overall. I'm excited to see DPS progress and evolve in Overwatch 2.
Thank you so much for your insights, and that was honestly quite interesting for me as well, because I haven't really gotten the chance to play that much of the Overwatch 2 beta just yet, but another one is coming up soon, so I hopefully play more in that one. But let's return to our tournament one now again, because we have still the bracket to discuss. And even though Tales of the North just lost their match, they still have a chance in the losers bracket. So they still have a go at least another match, and hopefully they can try everything in their might to win this one. And it's gonna be either again, their match is gonna be against either Cat Drinking Soda or Mince Money Crew, which is gonna be a little bit later on. And then we have Beep that just lost to Mince Money Crew. That will also be in the losers bracket from now on, and they will fight the winner of the and the Misery. So we're gonna look forward to that, and we are confirming what the next match is gonna be, as there is a little bit of time left, and we have a little bit of time to cover, and that is why we're gonna throw to break right now and come back a little bit later on once we sorted all that things out. So thank you much for staying with us here. Don't forget to donate if you want to, of course, for the good cause. And Jace, Loki, thank you for being with me here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's it. We'll go through the break. See you guys in a bit.
Welcome back, everybody. From the break, a little bit chaotic, but we sorted things now. It seems like there was a team that didn't have the time to play earlier, but that is sorted now. They can actually play earlier when if I heard that correctly. But basically, what we're doing now is a little bit of a break, intermezzo with Mugi and Luki, who are gonna cast the next match as well. So I'm gonna look forward to that one. But also, we have a little bit different things to talk about, which is also first the charity, and then a little bit more about the topic LGBTQ+IA in general. So yeah, Loki, do you want to introduce the charity to us again a little bit?
Yeah. So the charity we're working with, it covers a lot of paying bail for those that need it, especially those that are LGBT, which is huge because bail is incredibly hard to put up a lot of time. For those of you that don't know, the purpose of bail is basically when you're awaiting trial, the court doesn't want you to go off on your merry way and not show up at trial. And so they have you pay bail and post bail, and then when you return, that money gets returned to you, which makes sense from a legal perspective. But the issue with that being, if you're wrongfully accused of a crime, then you're in jail for really no reason. Like, you haven't been tried of anything, you haven't been, found guilty of anything. And for LGBT people who are, exponentially more homeless, which is something that increases in rates of incarceration, for who are exponentially more, incarcerated into jail, for who are exponentially more sexually assaulted in jail, it's a really big issue having them sit around, especially when they haven't been convicted of anything. And a really big issue that I have in my heart with that is, if you're in a low income job, which again, LGBT people are disproportionately in, a lot of those jobs are, if you don't show up, you don't have a job anymore. Like, you're fired. You're done. And if you've been wrongfully wrongfully put in jail, or if you've been out, protesting for your rights or something like that and put into jail, if you can't post bail, you don't have a job anymore, which is a pretty, blatant attack on freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of any of that, to be like, cool, you can go and do that, but then, you don't have a job tomorrow because you've been put in jail for protesting.
So it is very important that this Freedom Fund is able to provide the money to bail you out of jail and pay for that bail. So thank you again for everybody who donated so far, and we have another $5 from Lizen, who says, "Much love from the French broadcast. I'm a caster from Caster Nest. In case you didn't know, they are actually co-hosting this event and casting this in French for the French community. So our hearts go out to Caster Nest for working with us here and bring this amazing tournament for this great cause to the French audience, and just helping spreading the word for this also very important topic overall. So that is very nice of them to donate another $5. And also they say, thanks for this important event and all the trans femme and trans masks on the broadcast and the chat. You are amazing, valid, and beautiful, less than 3. And so are you, honestly. You're valid and beautiful as well. So we appreciate you, Caster Nest. We appreciate you, Lizen. Thank you again for the donation. Everybody else who wants to donate, !donate or charity in the chat. And thank you for staying with us so far. But now let's get back and talk a little bit more about the whole topic in general for this tournament, LGBTQ people. So Mugi, you have a few things that you wanted to talk about, right?
Yes. There's a couple things that I want to talk about, because if you can't already tell, I'm very young. If you can't tell, I'm on the younger side of things.
Yes.
So I've grown up in a world that's been more accepting of LGBTQ plus people and trans people and everyone in between, but still throughout my life I've seen, especially recently, I've seen just like all this hatred, and like it just kind of drives me crazy, because like I like to think that we're getting better, but at the same time we really aren't. So it's been hard, especially having to deal with my own family that might not be accepting of who people are. It's hard, but we've made a lot of progress. But especially with recent events, it feels like a lot of this could potentially be that progress can be reversed. So, but it's been really nice to be able to have a community where I, as someone who identifies as female and as part of the LGBTQ plus community, having a safe space like Altiora to interact and find myself and find friends has been so helpful, especially with the pandemic, because I was like totally like just like in the pits, just like wanting this to be over, but respecting others and respecting people's health, so I couldn't just go back to normal. So, but being able to have these interactions with people that are really different from me but also really similar to me has been just a great way to just keep myself social in a way while still having to be inside.
I think being isolated overall throughout this pandemic has been hurtful for many reasons and for many people outside the community as well. And to have people that you can talk to, especially about important topics like who you are, is important. So I think you have a really good point there, and I agree. So I actually lost my train of thought there, but that's fine. Oh yeah, right. Especially since you said turning things back in time, you are American, and saying we can't
Please help with that. I don't want to be.
We can't really do anything political. I think this topic always has been political, so we're gonna say that just democracy is very important for this topic in LGBT as well, because the opinions of people needs to be heard. They need to be accounted for, and I think, yeah, it's important for the future of young people like you, Mugi, that you can feel safe. And I am very honored that at least this community makes you feel a little bit better. So thank you very much.
I know, it just kind of helps me forget about how crappy everything is, honestly. Because everything sucks. Everything sucks. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Everything sucks. So just having people that are willing to listen to me complain about how everything sucks and help me forget about how everything sucks has been great. And it's also helped a lot to have people just talk about this, because I'm only 17, so I can't yet vote in my country. I'm not old enough to vote, so I can't. So people telling me just like, oh, go out and vote, get these bad people out of office, and I'm like, I can't. I literally cannot unless I literally break the law, which I don't want to do because I want to go to college.
No, don't break the law.
Don't commit
I would
voter
advise
fraud,
not doing
please.
that.
No
Don't
voter
commit
fraud.
voter fraud.
Yeah, Loki. You are in America as well.
Yes.
And you are part of the LGBTQ plus community as well. So how was your journey to finding yourself, who you are, and how do you feel about this tournament as well?
Finding self difficult, honestly. I grew up in very, very southern Texas. And so all of your thoughts about how that area is are pretty much correct. And so I wasn't really able to express myself hardly at all until coming to college and getting involved in game development in different esports communities, and really finding those spaces to, be a part of. And that's why I think those places are so important. Gaming is so important because whatever's happening in the real world, whatever's happening, at school or in just the greater walking down the street, going to the store, whatever, when you sit down at your computer or at the table to play D&D or whatever, you're not some, random person. You don't have to pay rent next month. You don't have, a boss who's homophobic or bigoted in some way. You're a wizard or a space marine or a time traveling lesbian if we're playing Overwatch. And so it really gives you that moment to step away and to express yourself however you might be. And while we do hear a lot of stuff about like, oh, gamers as a whole are sometimes not the best, there's actually been a lot of research done, and it's figured out like a greater than average percentage, a greater than normal population percentage, usually by about 10 to 15%, is a lot more accepting of social issues and a lot more progressive of it in gaming spaces. It's just the very loud vocal minority that's an issue, and that's why I love spaces like this, is because it shows that we're not a small minority locked in a room with 100 other people yelling terrible things, where we're the normal people. I'm locked in a room with millions upon billions of other amazing people who are just tired about listening to the 100 people who are very loud and angry. And that's why I love stuff like this, is it shows these are all the people who are here. These are all the people who want to support. These are all the people who are coming together, who are your community, who want to be a part of this, that sometimes just aren't heard because we're happy, we're normal, we're well-adjusted people who are just happy to be a part of these things. And so a lot of the times we're not as loud as the people who are angry and have bigger issues in their life going on.
That is, thank you for this beautiful message, and I couldn't agree more. And it's still, as you said, a very vocal minority that sometimes makes you have a bad day because they say something in game chat. And if you are here watching the stream and you're not part of the LGBT community, if you're not LGBTQ plus yourself, that is completely fine. You can help in games as well to help people feel safe, to make women feel safe. Whenever anything is said in voice chat or text chat that is slightly going into the very abusive direction, you can just say stop. You can use your own voice to just make them think about that they're probably alone with their opinion in the team, and that you are helping the people that are being discriminated against to feel safer because they're not alone. And so whether you're LGBTQ plus or you're an ally, just reach out in chat, reach out in voice chat, say, guys, this is not cool. Please stop harassing anybody, and just use your own voice to speak up, because this is very important.
I can't remember where this quote is from, but this quote, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good people do nothing. So even if you're not part of the community, if you're not a woman, if you're not LGBTQ plus, like, the worst thing you can do is to not say anything when these people are getting harassed by idiots that don't know anything. Like that, it just, because it makes people feel like they're alone when they shouldn't feel that way. And it just speaking up is just one of the best things you can do, because it helps the people that are being harassed realize that they're like not alone, and that they have people that will support them even among these really, really awful people. Also, some chat members wanted me to do this, so I'm gonna do this. Meow.
Oh no.
So you're welcome.
We'll only
Mookie,
meow if we
cat
hit
girl?
200. If we hit $200, I will only
Alright.
meow if we get to $200.
Hey, I did it.
donations.
Yeah, I will do it again at $200.
All
So
right.
yeah, donate and you get more meows.
Yeah.
Sellout. I see how it is.
Absolutely.
What do you
But-
want me to do? Okay, I'm having fun here.
No worries, but just thinking about it, what we said is what we concluded with the final thought here, speaking up for minorities, is basically what this tournament is trying to raise awareness for. What this tournament is all about, especially helping this charity in the LGBTQ Freedom Fund. And it is basically, if you spend your money for this charity, you are helping people in need that are in jail and that need to be bailed out, that need to get in front of a court. And when they do that, they are actually repaying the bail that was paid to get the people in front of the court, and it is going back to the Freedom Fund. So you're not wasting any money. It is also it is reusable for the future for other people that need help. So that is also why this charity is so great in providing the help that people need, and in providing this safety net for any LGBTQ people that are in need.
Yeah, there's something like, I think like 60% of at least American families who couldn't weather like an unexpected $1,000 expense. And so I personally don't believe that wealth should be the deciding factor in who's in jail and not. And helping out with donations like this and charities like this, they really do push that message, because the people who would be most affected by being kept in prison and kept in awaiting trial are the exact people who couldn't afford bail on their own, who need help from charities like this one. And yeah, like that's the big thing. When you post bail, when you show back up for trial, that bail is then returned to you. That's the incentive to show up for it. So for a charity like this, if you're putting up money, that's not just like, oh, this is a one-time thing. it gets reused more and more. It extends the reach even farther and can help even more people over time, and it compounds rather than it being more of like, you're paying for a new trail to be built, or you're paying for like a new center to help people to be built, and that's amazing. And that's good work that needs to be done. That's good work that needs to continue. But with this, it only compounds and grows over time. Yes, hydrate,
Yes,
citrus.
Hydrate. My water's almost empty, so I'll
Water
get them
check.
after.
Have you taken your meds today? Take your meds.
I did.
So
Don't
true.
worry. I took them before the tournament started. Don't worry. We're all good.
Smart. Good.
I'm
yes.
smart.
I say I actually didn't take my meds this morning, so
That's not good.
I'm bad.
I also
No.
say I'm smart, and I also proceed to elbow my desk live on the stream. So yeah, that's wonderful. Just
Poor
like
desk.
Water check. Unclench your jaw. Take your meds.
bend your knees,
Yes.
touch grass, maybe after this is
Check
done.
your posture.
Okay.
Check your posture.
Posture check.
The touch
Posture check.
grass meme confused me for the longest time so much, because for the longest time I was a cadet in like a military academy.
Mhm.
And touch grass for us meant when you're going through the obstacle course and you come off of a high thing, you have to go down all the way and touch grass so that you're actually like absorbing your fall and you don't hurt yourself. And so for the longest time, I was like, why are people telling something to fall safely all over Reddit? I don't get it. I was so confused.
Oh no.
Like, saw a meme,
Hilarious.
and I was like, oh, they mean go outside. I
Yeah,
was
that's what
so
we mean.
confused.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Do you know that there is actually no advertisement on this particular point? There is a game called Touch Grass where you basically have a patch of grass and your mouse is your hand and you just hover over it, and the faster you hover, the better points you get.
Oh my god, I need to play this like
Congrats.
now.
I don't know how it is called, and we're not sponsored to say this,
Not
but I just
sponsored.
remembered this random fun fact.
I want to stream that, and anytime anyone in
Yeah,
chat
I'm
like,
gonna
go
stream
touch
that one
grass,
day.
I'm just gonna pull that game up and be
Yeah,
like,
that
oh
sounds
yes,
amazing.
I've done it. I've completed that.
Yeah.
I've done the task of going outside. Don't worry, guys, I've got you.
Good
And
for you.
I can still stream it.
I have little plastic plants all over my desk that I can touch because I kill all the normal ones.
Oh no.
Oh no, that's not good.
No, my partner, my husband, does all of the plant stuff. They're so much better about it.
They do need a lot of care, and you need to know how much water they
Water.
want.
Yeah.
I
They're
looked
very
into
finicky.
getting a bonsai tree because they're so cool. I was like, I
Bonsai
want
trees are
one.
so cool.
They are like so much work. They're like more
Oh
work
yeah, they are.
than a dog. And like I am amazed by that fact. They're like I literally looked it up and it was like, congratulations, you've gifted someone a bonsai tree. You've gifted them a rabbit. Like that's how much work it's going to be. I was like, oh my god. I still
It's not for people with short amount of times on freehand on their hands. So it's definitely a lot of work. You need to cut it back, you need to water it properly, and whatnot. So it's definitely a lot of work. I can see that. Basically, for anyone who's wondering, we got a little bit of an update and a confirmation that the next game is gonna be Cat Drinking Soda, also known as Pursuit, versus Min's Money Crew, which is gonna be, I think, at the full hour, so in roughly 15 minutes. So we're kind of stalling, if you didn't notice. we're just stalling a little bit. We're the intermission desk because there was an hour to, have filled, to have covered, and I think so far we're doing pretty good. We're always halfway there. So do you have anything else to talk about, Mugi or Loki? Because if not, we can throw it back to break. That would be in due for in about 10 minutes, and then we have our next casters cast the next match.
You're giving me a platform to talk. I mean, I
We
love
really have
this
anything
kind
to
of.
talk about.
That's not true, right? But no. In terms of LGBT stuff, like, especially with, for those of you that aren't American, Supreme Court recently passed down a ruling restricting women's rights to health. And there's a lot of people going out and protesting about that, especially LGBT people who are very heavily affected by those issues, especially trans men, non-binary people often get forgotten in that issue. A lot of those people are going out and protesting, which means a lot of them are going to be arrested. And again, if you're arrested, if you're charged with anything, no matter what it is, they will keep you in jail until you post bail. And so a lot of what it is, and a lot of times those bails are very overly set high. And so a lot of what that is just a way of undermining the right to assembly and freedom of speech.
One thing. We talked about this a little bit before the intermission desk, that it is pretty hot at the moment. Summer is definitely around the corner. So it's getting pretty hot inside my room. It's probably well above 30 degrees Celsius, because I can't really open up the window and can't really have a constant airflow in here to cool me down, and the sun is shining directly into my window. And Loki mentioned this in that time period, that people in jail, they can't escape their rooms, and it's gonna be hot inside there as well. The humidity is probably gonna be rising as well, and it doesn't need a lot for people to have a heat stroke or to just dry up. So this is also because we are drinking a lot of water, because hydrating is important. And so if you donate to this charity, you are helping people to get out of jail earlier, so they don't have to endure the heat that is probably gonna be inside of jails. A lot of them are gonna be, I can imagine, good when ventilated, so they have AC units. But for those that don't, and I don't know if there are any, but I can imagine that there are some as well.
There are actually a fair majority, especially in the south, of jails that aren't refrigerated.
Okay.
Refrigerated?
A lot of jails and a lot of prisons don't have any air conditioning, to the point that heat stroke is a major problem, and especially southern imprisonment facilities.
Yeah, and that is gonna be so important to help the people escape the heat, escape the jail situation, for not only their physical but also mental health, which we didn't really discuss that much, but touched on it a little bit. But so I think this is everything important we should have mentioned. So Moogie, is there anything you want to wrap up, or are you good to go?
Not really. Just remember, if
Alright.
you can, we would appreciate it if you guys could donate to the charity. Just type exclamation point donate in the chat. English is very hard if you could not tell. And you can donate through the Tiltify link, and it's going to a great organization that's doing great work, so we'd really appreciate it. But yeah, that's all for me.
Alright, and that's all from us as well. So we're going to another 10-minute break, and we'll see you on the other side with game number 2 of the day. And afterwards, we're gonna have the NA division later on in the evening as well. So if you're up for that, stay with us.
Hi. Hi everyone. Are we up? Are we working?
I
Okay,
think
cool.
so.
Okay, great. I don't think we discussed who was going to intro there, but we
Oh,
make it
it
work
should have
anyway.
it should have been me. I thought for some reason the Citrus was going to enter us. That's my bad.
Oh, it's
Well,
because he was on they were on the OBS Ninja, which is fine.
uh,
So
I
we work with it. We carry on going, and
bit stuffed.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, forget the awkward start. Um, we're on to I don't know what match this is. Round 2, I believe. It's going to be cats drink cats drinking soda versus Mince's Money C. And to be honest, I haven't been massively following this tournament so far. So if you want to give me and anyone who just joined a quick catch up, that would be most appreciated.
Yeah, so we've just had 2 games on stream. I was a part of the first one. We saw a very strong team of the Misery, sponsored by Bad Pachamari, some reputable players, noticeable players in the scene, take a quick 2-0 against Tales of the North, who are now in the lower bracket and continuing on their adventure. And the other game, I believe, was I actually have forgotten already. Brilliant! This looks so stuffed. It's just coming in and do justice that can't quite get the grips on everything. But nonetheless, my name is Jace. I'll be your play-by-play for today. Joining me on colour, as you can see, is Hex. But we have 2 good teams today. Recognisable players, basically all over the shop. We've got Mince's Money Crew, who consist of Friday Arc, PKO, Spaisu, Mince, Sleepy, Yasu, and Zoe. Sleepy's fun fact: my ex came out as a lesbian after dating me. All right, I think I know which Sleepy that is. Someone I used to coach back in the day. Very confident on the Lucio, I believe. But Mince's Money Crew, a lot of players averaging around that high Masters, just below GM. And of course, this is a Pride tournament, so everyone here is bisexual, pan, non-binary, demi, gender fluid, trans, etc.
Anything that's
On this,
not kind of conforming to the norms, which is it's nice to see that, you know. I mean, to be honest, when I first heard about this tournament, I was really surprised that there are actually enough people in the community to be able to get together and have a whole tournament with it. It's really impressive, and it's lovely to see this variety and so many different people. And although it's, you know, part of the same larger community, everyone's so different individually, and it's a really great thing to see, and it brings a lot of, you know, pride to my heart.
yeah, absolutely. Altiora have done a fantastic job over the last 2 years of advertising themselves as a safe space, as a vibrant community for everyone, and those that are often marginalized, flamed, harassed, target hinted, whatever you want, just for being what conservatives consider not normal, which is crazy that people have the brain power to do that, even as we get into the later graveyard seasons of Overwatch 1. But now Altiora have built a great space for everyone, and it's clearly shown because so many good players have turned up to play in this tournament and represent themselves and take part in a celebration of pride and in the Overwatch community. So we have, as I said, we've got 2 teams ready to go. We've got Mince's Money Crew, and I believe we also have Cats Drinking Soda going to be going up today. Cats Drinking Soda, I'm pulling up their roster in just a second. Try and take us through a bit more of. Actually, I'll ask you this, Hex, before we get into the maps. What are you seeing at the moment as you're casting round Overwatch 1 in this sort of its dying light? We are going to be going to Ilios map 1, so in these sort of latter months of Overwatch 1, what are you seeing on Ilios compositionally and in terms of the individual power picks? What's springing to mind and what are the power plays?
I mean, to be honest, throughout time and as Overwatch has progressed, Ilios has been pretty stable ever since, you know, the last few heroes have been coming out with the Sigma, the Orisa. You generally have either the double shield and the poke, which everyone likes to play, or you have that brawl, which is obviously much faster. You have the rush with the diva that you can play, but it's a big variation, to be honest. Depending on the map, you know, you like to see people who, or players like to play people who can boot because it's just a lot of fun. But maybe less so in the more scrum competitive community, but definitely in my trash plat elo that that I play in. People love to do that, and I think generally on this map, which I can't remember the name. I think Lighthouse, I believe it is. We're possibly going to be seeing some poke with that Sigma, but most likely probably just going to be going with the basic Brawl because it's easy to play and it works.
Yeah, Ilios, I think, is a great chance to really show what both of these teams like to play on this map. Going to take a quick look at the starting rosters for both teams. We do have Mince and Sleepy. Looks like Sleepy's going to be locking the Brigitte. Quite cute. And I think that's actually... Is that I can't tell. It's Neuer. That's it. Neuer 1. I thought that was a D for a second there. Exhaustion setting in, I guess. But both of these teams obviously not going to lock in their compositions just yet. But just as we go into this map, which is going to be Lighthouse, what do you expect? What do you think? And as we said, who are you really looking to keep an eye on for this map?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously from the side of Mince's Money Crew, we're going to be seeing that Sigma and Hog, and I love that combo. I mean, I personally love to play it. It's a lot of fun, except unless you're a support, but that's okay. And then from the side of Cats Drinking Soda, we're going to be seeing Brawl with Hog, which is something that's been coming out a lot more recently, as we can see Poke take a fight, and Sigma already getting pulled in.
Yeah, Sigma's going to get pulled in, but are they going to be able to go down? No, they're not. Drinking Soda's roster, it's odd and it's definitely not the most synergistic, but I mean, you're able to get pits like that. Hog Champion gets the pin onto Rock, who I guess is the main tank in this composition. Angel, she manages to take down PKO with the Venom Mine. That Echo overstepping early into this fight, and now it's numbers up in the side of Cat Drinking Soda. Sabo Tabby just gets a pick as well onto the end, and I think so far the composition, the flip percentage is going to be going over to Cat Drinking Soda. They're getting all the resources to start out this map.
Yeah, now it's actually a really two-sided fight there. I wasn't really too sure who was going to win that until just at the end when I mean, actually no, it's still very up in the air. It seems that Cat Drinking Soda is starting to get all their players back, as well as Mrs. Money Crew actually. And the picks are still coming through while we're getting to the now nearly 2 minute point of the fight.
Yeah, here we go. It's Mince's Money Crew. They were down on ultimates. That's for sure. They were down in the economy, but when you've got a Roadhog on your team, as both teams going for the honourable Hog Mirror, Zoe, well, just manages to find an excellent hook, and we know what Hog is like in this state of the game, don't we, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary gamers. I don't know if I can say the whole phrase on stream, but it's something bros and non-binary hoes is my go-to saying for now, instead of just ladies and gentlemen. If anyone gets the reference, respect. But nonetheless, just waffling as both these teams are kind of just skirmishing and poking each other out. Kiwi though goes all in, manages to commit the ultimate onto Rock, who goes down so early. Catching him, Soda looks like they're going to regain control at this point.
Yeah, and they do, and they did get 44% on that just before, so it's going to be a lot easier to get up to that 99 or 100 that they're going to be looking for. And Mince's Money Crew has got 36, which isn't too bad, but Cat Drinking Soda have 4 ultimates up, and Mince's Money Crew only has... Okay, well, I mean, they do also have 4, but Doomfist has just died. It's actually quite a big pick. We see the Nano go onto Genji. The Blade does not come out, actually, but they get quite a good use of that regardless.
Yeah, that's fine. They managed to get some nice use out of it. It's the Genji with the Nano still going, but Sabotabi trades back awesome stick onto Rock there to take them down. It's still in anyone's favour. Mince's Money Crew flip the point, but I think it might only just be for a second. That's a 2-chase slam from Hog Champion, one of them onto the Roadhog themselves, as Kiwi manages to find a pair to help clean up the fight. As we said, it was just a little bit of tick on the point for Mince's Money Crew. Cat Drinking Soda are going to reflip this one back and wrestle and get the percentage over to 70.
Yeah, and this game so far is just going so back and forth. You really can't tell who's going to win in the end, as Cat Drinking Soda gets 81% now on that timer, and they are only 20% or now 15% off of what they won, as that window does come up.
Yep, the window is going to be online for quite cute. Nice high ground position as well. Unfortunately, I think they're basically just there on their own, having to try and skirmish and duel. Only really the Lucio there to help protect the Baptiste through the window. And unfortunately, the Lucio, those primary sides aren't going to be too strong. Going through that, the hook comes in from Zoe. and it misses, so the whole Hog has been forced out from them, but it's both Hogs on the point so far. We flip over to the Genjis, they pull out the Dragon Blade. Unfortunately, it is dry, and it is nothing to combo with it, and yeah, it's not going to be very efficient. It was more of a prayer than an expectation as Cats Drinking Soda just flood the point with their sustain and their HP advantage, and they take the round.
Yeah, and it looks like the more unorthodox and more unconventional composition wins there, which is really, really surprising. I mean, they just played it perfectly, right? I mean, they have the Hog behind the Ryan shield, and then the Hog just has free hooks whenever they want, and it makes it that little bit easier and allows them to get more picks. Because in that situation when there was a Hog versus Hog there, it's kind of just whoever gets more hooks, more valuable picks, and obviously, Cat Drinking Soda was able to get that, and now we see the Hog and Bull Torture come out from the side of Cat Drinking Soda. So it looks like they really are not slaves to the meta whatsoever, and they're playing some really, really unconventional things that I really haven't seen in a long time.
No, this is sort of your quintessential chaos composition. Both of these teams, as Angel, she almost manages to go for the hop with that Helix rocket, does not manage to go down, so now the Soldier has to reposition for the side of Cats Drinking Soda. Unfortunately, they're going to get forced out by, well, look at the Hog. The Hog problem absolutely still evident in Overwatch 1. Both of these New Zealand piggies jostling for either flank, one on either side, and it looks like on the right side with the Brigitte in tow as well, Cats Drinking Soda are just going to walk this fight in. They were a little bit split with Mince's Money Crew, and, well, they got punished and pinned because Cats Drinking Soda are going to take a quick first fight win here.
Yeah, and Hog Champion is playing that ball so perfectly right now. I mean, they're just going to the back line, and getting the chaos being created. We do see a couple picks come out on 2 supports actually, and I mean, Hog Champion doing so much as they get trapped.
Speaking of, I mean, the Hog for the side of Cats Drinking Soda, Kiwi doing equal work as well. PTO manages to get on the kill feed there, unfortunately just manages to go from the left to the right in the matter of 2 kills. Trades 1 for 1, and now it's the duel of the flankers, but Spisu is going to win it. I think, unfortunately, though, Mince's Money Crew, once again, they're just down in the fight. They don't have enough sustain. They don't have the tank pressure to be able to force onto the objective. Cats Drinking Soda, they're just trading 1 for 1 too effectively to extend these fights.
Yeah, and we do see a lot of chaos, actually, as we were talking about, getting created, as we see so many picks coming through from Cat Drinking Soda. It's really incredible what they're doing.
Oh, beautiful stick from Sabotab. He manages to get the blink. The Genji goes down for Mince's Money Crew. The Nano Blade was brewing, it was potentially coming online, and it's going to happen eventually. It's an inevitability at this point, but Cats Drinking Soda, they're going to take this fight win and basically get themselves a very, very healthy percentage. And now, Cats Drinking Soda, they're going to have to, well, to Mince's Money Crew actually, they're going to have to use the Nano Blade to knock Cats Drinking Soda off this objective, and now that they've got their primary win condition, they've got to use it once it goes down. Cats Drinking Soda, once again, probably going to be very, very up in this fight. So it's just all about the Nano Blade in this next fight. Can Neuer race to beat, and can they kite the Nano Blade?
Yeah, and it looks like they are already getting a couple picks in this fight so far with Kiwi going down. But Kiwi is going to be back in the fight soon enough, as we're looking to see Nano Blade getting pulled out now. But they might not need to use it, but no, they do choose to use it. Maybe a bit unnecessary to use that at the end, since there were only a couple people left, but no. Sabotabi?
I don't think so. Sabotabi saying that finds both supports, finds 3 actually in the room, 1v3. The time-travelling British lesbian doing absolute work during Pride, representing in the best fashion possible. That was a huge carry from Sabotabi. The Nano Blade came down as well. It was 1v3 thanks to the Tracer. And Sabotabi, wow. Take a bow. What a clutch for Cats Drinking Soda to get them the first map win on Ilios.
Yeah, that was really, really well done from Cats Drinking Soda. They came out with the less expected compositions, the less I mean, I really didn't think that they would really find much with that, but they ended up playing it really perfectly, as we see Sabotabi popping off just in the back line.
Yeah, they're all so low from the poke, but they wrestle into that tight room to try and defend themselves from only 2 angles, but Sabotabi's just better, so clean. The pulse bomb doesn't even need to stick. It just needs to be directly in the center of that small room, which it was, and it was just really nice composure to be able to focus down the targets. The Ana fell first, a lot of sustain gone, no Bionade or Sleep Dart available, then they moved themselves onto the Lucio, and finally the Widowmaker, who's taken a bit of splash damage from the Pulse Bomb, goes down as well. And there you go, that was Ilios, that was the DPS show. That was the Sabotabi show. I think for Cats Drinking Soda there, Angel did some nice work as well, but unfortunately that Tracer so strong. We saw it in the first game I casted today as well. Just the individual playmaking power of the Tracer coming up so big. So I asked you this, Hex, if you're the side of how do you deal with the Cats Drinking Soda DPS line if you are if you are this other team?
Yeah, I mean, if I was I mean, I'm just trying to think. CC, I guess. To take down Sabotabi, you need a Kree, ideally. I mean, it's so difficult to put a pin on it because you have so many different variables flying around in this mess of a composition that it's just so difficult to deal with it. I mean, you just want someone looking behind the entire time to look for the Tracer, to look for the Bull, and then maybe you want a Reinhardt for the Hog. I mean, it's so hard to pin down because it's just so chaotic what they're doing, and it's really it's a mess of brilliance. It really is, because you have the messy section of everything going on in the back line, which is going all after the supports, but in the front line, I mean, I can't even explain it. It's just so much going on, and it's glorious. It really is.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're just, I think, fundamentally being able to out-mechanic the side of Mince's Money crew. They managed to find some picks, though, to be fair to them. Zoe, in particular, on that Roadhog, I think she's staying in for the next map, did some great work of finding pick after pick, but unfortunately, as you said, Mince's Money crew's compositions just really did not translate well into the objective. And on Control, that is exactly not what you want to see, because it's all about the fight on the point. Our second map is going to be Rialto. Will we see no substitutions? Will we see the same people in the lobby as it loads in? And I think so. Both teams looking to go unchanged. Most importantly, Sabotabi and Angel staying in for Cats Drinking Soda. We look like we are going to be seeing more of this dishonorable Hog Mirror. I think it's honestly quite even, the Hog Mirror in itself, but unfortunately having the Hog means there's no Diva. There is no Zarya Bubbles, there is no shields, which lets Sabotabi and Angel run completely riot, as both of these Hogs are effectively just another DPS on the field.
Yeah, I mean, all this map is going to come down to, unless Cats Drinking Soda or Mince's Money crew, whoever's getting diffed, really, all it comes down to is the Widow versus Widow, and the Hog versus Hog, and whoever's a better Widow and whoever's a better Hog will take the win here. And I mean, if that doesn't end up happening, someone is going to change their composition, and someone's going to change what they're doing. But just at the start, it's really like simple what it comes down to, and it's the diff.
Rod Falls going for what looks like an aggressive pin or some form of thing into the spawn. May have potentially even been hooked by the Roadhog of Kiwi. Unfortunately, they get traded back. Sleepy on the Ana goes for the aggressive pick onto Angel to fall their Mince's Money crew looking a little bit better on the defense. They've been able to really play these high grounds and poke them out. Honestly, very flimsy, very individualistic composition for Cats Drinking Soda here, and they rely on picks, and picks they get as Kiwi's hook finds PKO and Mince's Money crew. They had all the high ground advantage. They had all the time on the clock. They should have played it slow, and they didn't. And they just fall to the individual playmaking of Cats Drinking Sodas. Once again, Kiwi finds another Hog. That's 2 and 2 for the Hog, and both DPS gone at the hands of the Piggy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all Kiwi at the moment, what they're doing. And as I've said, it just comes down to that Hog diff here. And we see that Hog diff coming through straight away from Kiwi to Zoe.
Or Zoe. Yep.
I do really feel bad for them.
Zoe getting picked off there, Zoe getting staggered, unfortunately. That means that the Hog is going to be late into this fight, one of the key playmakers. You have to come up big, you have to find pick after pick on Hog, because if not, you're just contributing nothing else to your team. And Tank's so reliable for your core composition. Kiwi, though, continuing to hit these hooks. PKO goes down once again. It's been an awful time for the Genji and the Widowmaker. None of these DPS can really contest either of these Roadhogs. No swaps seeming to be made, as Zoe gets a nice pick onto Quite Cute to take down that Brigitte, but it's traded by 2 for 1 for the side of Cats Drinking Soda. Angel manages to find a headshot, then a body shot to add 2 more to her repertoire. That's a third Zoe is headshot, that massive headshot hitbox of the Roadhog. Nice angle, Zoe going down, and Sleepy as well. Angel completes the 4K to get the first cap, and Mince's Money Crew, I think it's time for them to press the H key.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the issue with their comp at the moment is, I mean, it's not even an issue with their comp, it's an issue that Cass drinking soda is just too good, because, you know, you want PKO 66 to go after Angel, who's on the Widow, and you want them to be able to try and take it out so Angel can't do very much. But they just have so much peel. Like, the coordination is impeccable from Cass drinking soda.
Yeah, absolutely, and what's making things worse is Raki stepping up alone, and now there's already a pick or two going over for this attacking team now, and the rally is committed from quite deep to keep everyone so healthy, but now that it's down, the blade can come out. But no, Brigitte still in the game, still as strong as she ever was. That is a firm shield bash whip shot combo, and PKO just gets flayed back into the spawn room, turned into a sushi, turned into an omelette. Goodbye, Genji. There you go, and that is honestly just a fight. Cat Streak and Soda, they're pushing this to second, and they've got an amazingly big time bank ready to go as they look to try and get 2 points already on Rialto.
Yeah, and that time bank is so nice to see. 4 minutes, 40 seconds. Wow. I mean, like, what more do you want to ask on Rialto? That is a really impressive sweep, actually. That's a little bit of a 180 there from Sleepy. And Angel, oh man, oh, another one.
Angel. Well, I mean, it's just a living highlight reel, isn't it? Sleepy finds a beautiful 90-degree, maybe even over 100-degree flick. As I say that, I can't stop my sentence before someone else makes a big highlight play. Trade slam from Hog Champion. The Transcendence comes in to cover as well. Zoe finds a pick onto Quite Cute. Both of these teams are just playing deathmatch, and honestly, when you've got Roadhogs on the field, that's what I expect. It devolves the game so much. We are really playing TDM. But unfortunately, as the dust is settling every time, the TDM is always coming out in the favour of Cat's Drinking Soda, as this payload is now only 10, 20, 30 metres away from completion with over 3 minutes 30 left on the clock.
Yeah, and they just do so much. I mean, look at what Sabatabi is doing right now. Literally hopping into the back line, getting a ton of damage off, scaring the Widow away, and then getting back out, as they just did yet again. And it's so perfect the way that they're doing it. They're playing with Orion, they're playing Tracer with Orion, which shouldn't work, but it does. And I have no... I mean, look at Angel. It's incredible.
Yeah, Angel's hitting so many shots, unfortunately. For Cat's Drinking Soda, the amount of mechanical ability they need to outplay just increases with every fight, with respawn advantage, with ults coming in, but they do not see that as a problem. That has not faltered them yet. My only criticism of this composition is how much it needs to outplay their opponents to get ahead and actually win these fights, but it's not an issue for Cat's Drinking Soda right now, and I'm not sure if they continue to keep this up, it will be an issue. We are in a 1-2, and it looks like Cat's Drinking Soda very much put themselves on the front foot. They put themselves at the forefront of the race ahead of the pack to take this quick 2-0 against Mince's Money Crew. Hex, what do Mince's Money Crew adjust? What do they change? What can they adapt in terms of heroes, playstyle, and tempo to try and wrestle themselves back into this series?
Oh god, I honestly have no idea, to be honest. I mean, I've been trying to analyze this and trying to figure out what they could do, and I think it's just down to like a full team. It's like a team diff, but it's also a like player diff individually, because although Cat's Drinking Soda is doing slightly better than Mrs. Money Crew, that's not the main deciding factor of why they're doing so much better. The reason that they're doing so much better is because every player individually is just like diffing their like counterpart on the other team. So I mean, you've seen what Angel has been doing. It's just incredible. And then Sabatabi always getting those picks, always frightening the enemy, and Kiwi getting picks every single fight, going with those massive hooks. And I think a main thing for Kiwi is their target focus, and they know who to hook, right?
Yeah.
And that's so important for Hog, because if you're not getting the right hooks, it doesn't matter if you're getting hooks. If you're not getting the right ones and you're not following up on them, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest value to the kit, the biggest value to the team that Kiwi brings is the ability to get picked, and they need to make sure that hook being on a 9 to 10 second cooldown, they convert it. And there we go. Rock, they get the best pick of them all. They convert it into the main tank, and now that's a lot of point pressure lost for Mince's Money Crew already in this fight. This, I think, is just going to be an S-key for Mince's Money Crew. Just quickly, Hex, the composition Mince's Money Crew looks like they've not changed much. What do you think? Is this the definition of insanity, or
Oh
what?
yeah, I think it is. If you actually look it up, it will say Mince's Money Crew in the dictionary there, because they are crazy. They really are to keep this composition here. They need to change so much faster. I think maybe even something with the ball potentially. They even could try the Tracer instead of the Genji, and maybe put PKO 66 on Hanzo to try and get a little bit of a counter on Angel without risking too much. And I just look at that, it's incredible.
I mean, when Angel's winning these Widow 1v1 so consistently and then finding a pitch as well, it makes the game so easy for Cats drinking soda. Just want to point out the pitfalls in this composition as both of these teams are going to just trade blows and poke out. PKO, though, finally manages to get revenge on Angel, so I'm going to have to stop myself there, as this could be the fight for Mince's Money Crew. Speaky gets a pick onto quite cute as well, and there we go, the flimsy backline of the Cats drinking soda composition has finally been punished. The Brigitte goes down, the Zen should follow after. I'm not quite sure why they don't. The Nano goes on to Zoe to try and clean up. PKO finds an impressive headshot onto the Tracer, and now with the overwhelming front line that the Nano provides onto Zoe, she's just going to barrel forward and force Cats drinking soda away. And finally, thanks to a nice Widow pick from PKO to finally get Angel back and away off the sightlines. Can't keep them down for too long though. Is Angel going to clutch this by themselves with Kiwi coming into contest as well? There's no way. Mince's Money Crew, please don't tell me you've thrown this. Oh, but you have.
Wow. I don't really know what to say, to be honest. And like the fact that they haven't even tried to change composition after this is really incredible. Maybe they do have confidence that they can find a way, because they have been finding ways, here and there. And last fight, I think Angel got a bit cocky in the backline and decided to become an attacker, and then got picked off because of that. But I mean, all around, they're not doing too much wrong. It's just like,
I don't think so. Widowmaker, when you're this mechanically good and when there is this much of a mechanical difference, it really makes the game unfair, because just as they'd won the fight, the Widowmaker kills 2 people in 3 seconds, and now it's a 4v6 or at least a 4v4, and as I said, mechanical difference just being so important. Mince's Money Crew, whilst they have the Lucia, whilst they have the Ana, a higher sustained composition, they should be able to effectively navigate and rotate onto the backline of Cats drinking soda. They've not really been able to do that, and even in this fight that they won, they basically just brute forced them with ultimates and numbers advantage on the payload, thanks to, well, a great shot from PKO. Is honestly holding themselves very well against a Widowmaker and Angel that is, I think, 500, 600 SR above them. Rod falls early though. Cats drinking soda might flip this one back, but it's not too bad for Mince's Money Crew. They're still in this fight.
yeah, they have found their way back. They've crawled their way back onto the path of victory here. They have 3 minutes and 5 seconds coming up to this next point, and it looks like they're already getting it around halfway, which is looking good for them. Just a bit of a poke stage still going on. Now we do have that Nano Blade, which is ready for Mince's Money Crew. The rally does come up, and Nano Blade comes up as well.
The Nano Blade is going to come up. The beat is also followed to keep Speaku so healthy, considering the lack of support that's been given to this Genji. I'm sure they'll be finally happy to see it, even though it is a bit of overkill. The Genji, there we go. Speaku finally manages to get themselves on the left side of the kill feed and get themselves a nice, tasty pair with that Nano Blade. Kiwi, though, reminds them who the top dog is, and unfortunately is that New Zealand Piggy manages to take down Minch. That's going to be a shatter off the, not quite the top rope, but off the payload. Rock doesn't manage to find anything though. The Transcendence is forced from Neuer, so I guess that's a win in terms of ultimate advantage, but numbers advantage, unfortunately for Mince's Money Crew, still in the way of Cats drinking soda. And now 2 minutes left on the clock. They're looking to secure themselves the second point hold. Mince's Money Crew, they are bone dry on ultimates and win conditions to go with. They're going to come up with something big here and really hope that, I guess, PKO or Zoe can come up big. As I say that, Angel just claps PKO once more on the Widow 1v1.
Yeah, yes, again. But Sleepy actually taking out Angel. Some nice support DPS going on there. And Sabotabi, again, just with those picks going through. Really nice sleep actually from Sleepy. Living up to their name, I see. And nice anti as well. But not really doing too much yet, since it's still in the poke stage of the fight. But now we're seeing a lot more stuff coming through. Some picks coming through from Kiwi again. And some more DPS from Sleepy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if your DPS are struggling to really hit those shots and contest them, the Ana can add the primary fires as well to really weave in the damage. It is a 3-shot kill onto any 200 HP target, so Sleepy really able to frag here. The Nano Boost is available, so they can give that over to Zoe and once again exert massive pressure on the front line. Mince's Money Crew clearly favouring the front-to-back style with their composition, but unfortunately they do not cover the flank angles. They do not check twice before crossing the street, and it's met by a bullet onto the head of PKO. Great whole hog from Zoe, though, to knock off the primary target. That is Angel shut down, but Kiwi says, okay, we're using ults, let me throw mine out too, as Spiku goes down. So it looks like basically all the DPS are off the field, minus Sabotabi. If there's one person left in the lobby, as we've seen that you do not want to leave alive for Minty's Money Crew, it's Sabotabi. The Cat's Drinking Soda DPS doing so much work, just cleaning up the kills and making sure those targets that get low return to 0 and the spawn room. 22 seconds left on the clock. Minty's Money Crew have got some nice ultimates to combo, but they have to touch the payload, and that for them is scary as Angel continues to find bodies.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God, another one! Angel's got 4K in that fight, looking for a 5th. And wow, I mean, I have no words. This is such a DPS carry from Cat's Drinking Soda. They're doing so well, and obviously Kiwi is doing really incredibly as well. And let's give some support appreciation as well. Of course, the supports are doing really well. Just allowing their team to pop off. With Noya, I haven't been super focusing a lot on it, but I'm sure their Discord orbs have been really good, helping out Angel and helping out Sabotabi. This is just incredible mechanical skill.
Minty's Money Crew put up a good fight. They played some of these fights quite well in terms of individual. I think their composition, whilst they went for the Hog Mirror, was still something that can compete with quite a lot of teams in this tournament. Unfortunately, when they needed to, Angel just kind of closed the door in a lot of these fights. She was amazing the whole series. It says something when a Widowmaker is consistently able to hit shots like that. There was no Wrecking Ball, there was no Tracer really to try and pincer and contest this Widow. And that's what happens when you leave a Widow uncontested on the angles or on the high ground. Everyone. So, yeah, that's going to be it. That's going to be a 2-0. Congratulations.
Well done.
Congratulations to
To
Angel and Sabotabi and the rest of the gang. Yeah, they're going to take that through. And Minty's Money Crew, unfortunately, going to be going down into the losers bracket, but they'll be fine. They have some very good players on their roster, and they will carry on going. Let's see, I believe we're going to have an interview coming in any second now. We got Sabotabi and Hogchamp, I believe, are set to join the VC. Sabotabi, welcome, congratulations. Super incredible DPS performance from you today on the Tracer. Just if we were to say a few words about how you thought about the match and how confident you are going into the rest of the tournament.
It was a good match. I was really surprised by the Ana. The Ana was playing really, really well. Sleepy, I think it was on the Ana.
Yeah,
Sleepy was good. No, I think if we're looking at the rosters, our biggest sort of problem in the future is going to be definitely that's the team name.
Yeah,
they're
the problem.
Yeah, they are the big problem. They've got players that we know. Some of them are our friends, like Santix.
Team. Yeah, Santix.
Yeah, Santix.
Hey, they're your friends. They're your friends, not
well,
mine.
technically, they're not really my friends either.
I'm kidding. I love Santix.
I have a university degree. I've actually touched grass. But I know that real. I know quite.
Do you?
She's I do actually. Funnily enough, we're on the same team. But me and her, we she's a lot more invested in the European Overwatch scene than I am. I stick my head in, but she's all the way in, and so she knows them. But it's going to be a good game, and we reckon that whoever wins or loses the winners finals, we're expecting to meet them in winners finals, and whoever wins or loses that, we expect there to be a rematch at grand finals.
I'm looking forward to it. Are these competitions something you're going to stay on for the rest of the tournament, or is this just a sort of an honour match against Mince's Money Crew here, just for a little bit of fun?
I think it depends on our mood and whether Mercury is in retrograde, really. Those are the two main things. Pretty much we see what we're feeling like anytime we load in, and we just go Reinhog, and we play Reinhog. As simple as that, really. We just pick whatever we play.
It's a wild card.
Yeah.
If we feel like the game needs a bit of whimsy, a bit of tomfoolery, just a nice hefty dose of silliness while still having at least some viability as a comp, we pull out the Reinhog. It's
we're also
And,
saving our strats so that the doesn't see this and counter strat us when we pull out
Yeah.
our real compositions.
And Sabatabi, I actually wanted to ask you something about a specific play.
Okay.
About kind of what's going on in your head, because you're such a good tracer. I mean, it's clear to see. It's really, really impressive, very incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to ask, on Ilios, I believe on the second half.
You're talking about the play of the game, right?
I believe it was play game 3K when you were about to lose, and then you clutched up with that 3K.
Honestly, if you are thinking about what you're doing as Tracer, you are doing it wrong. You must be head empty, no thoughts.
I was gonna say, is this a
Um,
fancy way of saying you weren't thinking about anything? You were just clicking on what was in front of you.
No, because you just gotta. Tracer's one of the heroes that you just have to like play enough of that you just close your eyes and you can just like know. You just know how far you blink. And I know I just said I've touched grass before, and now I'm saying this, which is contradicting my earlier statement probably. But but yeah, you've just gotta. If you're thinking about what you're doing on Tracer, that's gonna actually take time to process, and that time is, you only have 150 health. You are probably going to die. So you just have to head empty, all instinct, and just feel it out. And so you just gotta. I guess if anyone wants to play like that, play like me, because I'm obviously the best tracer in the world. Like, no competition. Okay, there's Overwatch League players, never even heard of them. But me, if you wanna play like me, you gotta play a lot of hours. Oh my gosh, I have not
Maybe
touched
that
grass.
has something to do with like you can't really spend too much time focusing and thinking on your play because we're having a very important, like at the time of the Ilios play of the game, we were actually engaged in a very deep philosophical discussion about the intricacies of the wars in Palestine. And so a lot of her opinions were going towards that, and most of her thinking was going towards that, whilst her physical side was
Of
going
course,
towards playing.
I've got to think about my team. I've got to think about
You think about me?
I've got to think
Aw.
about the economy, both alt-wise and obviously with the coming recession. That's very worrying. And yeah, and you just can't use that brain power. You've got to keep your brain power for other things, and just thinking about it.
Sabotabi made more money from crypto than Yavin has, so
Yes, I did.
Just shouting out our friend Yavin there. Sabotabi's made
And
more money than you.
And I never even purchased a coin. I just sold a graphics card for a higher price.
Well,
Anyway,
thank you very much.
Okay, sure. I don't know if this is just Discord, but your mic has gone very goofy.
I'll reboot it 1 second.
Okay.
Thank
So
you,
I
Optimus.
believe we're going to be finishing up for now and finishing up with the interview. So thank you guys for your inspirational quote. Sabatabi, Tracer is literally all aim, no brain.
That sounds like something she'd say.
I mean, your brain
no,
is.
no. The man said what he's.
Okay, sorry.
They've said what they said.
Okay.
We will be back in a few minutes with the next match, and thank you guys for watching this one. Thank you guys for coming here for the end. Of course.
Had a good time.
We'll be back in a few. We'll see you in a little bit.
We look forward to the games tomorrow.
Peace.
The hog and both DPS gone at the hands of the piggy.
Yeah, and I mean it's all Kiwi at the moment. What they're doing, and as I've said, it just comes down to that hog diff here, and we see that hog diff going through straight away from Kiwi to Zoe.
Poor Zoe. And what's making things worse is Raki stepping up alone, and now there's already a pick or two going over for this attacking team now, and the rally is committed from quite few to keep everyone so healthy. But now that it's down, the blade can come out. But no, Brigitte still in the game, still as strong. And when Angel's winning these Widow 1v1 so consistently and then finding a pitch as well, it makes the game so easy for Cats drinking soda. Just want to point out the pitfalls in this composition as both of these teams are going to just trade blows and poke out. PKO, though, finally manages to get revenge on Angel, so I'm going to have to stop myself.
Welcome folks, back to the Altiora Pride Cup. This is going to be our final game of the day for EU Day 1. I am Toasty, absolutely enthralled to be here by alongside Hex, who is a pretty long-time caster of mine, so I'm glad we get to cover the games here today, or at least this game. You saw the last one, Hex, as well. That was a banger, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think banger is understatement. And yeah, as you say, we've been casting for a long time. I think since the first lockdown, which is like a year and a half ago, maybe. That's a while. But yeah, so the last game was a complete mess and a complete symphony, both at the same time. It's quite hard to put into words. I think there's actually a word for something being hard to put into words, which doesn't really make sense. A bit self-contradictory, but regardless of the complications of the English language, it was a banger. It really was. It was a really great game. We saw some very, very interesting comps coming out from Cats Drinking Soda. They were playing lots of Hog, lots of Ryan. I think the Bull got pulled out at one point, and it was interesting. There was a lot of players doing a lot of things, and it worked.
Yeah, there was some interesting stuff last game, tell you that much. We did get a few clips out of it, though. Had some great moments. Jace obviously hyping him up greatly as well, so they did a great job, and so did the teams. And with that obviously being the case, obviously, Mince's Money Crew, they are in the lower bracket. They won't be casted here, though. This game is going to be Beep versus Misery. So, Misery, a team we saw in the first game of today, and looked pretty good, I would say. Naturally, obviously, they won 2-0, which makes it a little bit more tricky for who they're going up against here. Which is Beep. Now, the thing is with Misery, they're 3992 SR average, right? Now, you look at Beep, they're 2996. So that is a 996 SR difference. How do you think that's going to affect the game here, Hex?
Oh god, in lots of ways. And I mean, the underdogs can come through, but I mean, I know you love Toasty. I know you love an underdog story, and I do too. It's kind of just human instinct to go for the underdogs, isn't it? So I'm gonna be putting my money on Beep. But the lowest SR player on Beep is Andy with a 1,900, which is just high silver, just lower than gold. And the highest player on the side of the Misery is apparently 5,000, but it's definitely not. So I'm just gonna say 4.2, which is a lot of difference. That's a big difference, and obviously SR doesn't mean everything. I personally hate SR. It's my arch enemy, but
because you're gold.
I'm high plat. I'm diamond. I'm diamond. What are you talking about?
Oh, you're gold. No, you're high plat. No, you're diamond. Oh.
But yeah, so I'm sure that Beep will pull out some interesting things, and I'm sure they'll put up a decent fight. But it's going to be tough for them. Just looking at the stats, and stats aren't everything, as I've seen in the past, as many people have seen in the past. But stats can say a lot of things,
Yeah, absolutely. I think stats obviously give pretty objective insights into things, and talking about SR, as much as people hate to admit it, I feel like SR is generally accurate. It's not the best rank system created in any game ever, but pretty good indicator of skills. So I hope to see Beep actually making the underdog story happen here. Like I said to you in the break, actually, Hex, during the green room, this is basically an Altiora Pugs team. So for those of you who don't know in the chat, obviously, we have Altiora Pugs every Saturday. They'd be going on in 2 hours from now. Obviously, not for this weekend, because Pride Cup, poggers. But basically, there's a lot of players that are regulars to Altiora Pugs. Some of these being Sept, AD, Mars, Fracture, Twist. These players are all regulars to Altiora Pugs, and these players are all on Beep. Fracture and Twist on the tank line, AD Sept on the DPS, Jethro and Cider on support, and then their subs are Mars and Elf. So, a few players there from Altiora Pugs makes me feel like this is going to be a team that actually has some synergy, right? Because, like, they've played together in Altiora Pugs. Not the greatest proving ground, but it's at least something here. Whereas I'm not sure about the background of Misery. I believe they are the Altiora Eminence team. Which means they are, 4K average team. They scrim together pretty frequently. There's only 3 players from Eminence on there, but still pretty impactful.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen teams. I don't know what's happened there. Okay, looks like Toasty is back.
I'm good.
But okay, cool. I've seen some teams who were like plat beat teams who are GM just by pure synergy, and this could be one of the situations. If the team of Beep, is playing together on a weekly basis and does know each other's play styles well and knows how to bounce off each other, synergy wise and anything like that, they do have a chance, and I would love to see them come through and win this. But looking at the statistics, looking at that objective side of the game, it does seem a bit less likely. But I'm not gonna say that anything is going or not going to happen because A, I don't want to cast to curse it, and B, you never know. You really never know what is going to happen in these games. It's very up in the air, and that's why I love to cast it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's talk a little bit about the kind of mechanics, the intricacies of this game, right? Because Nepal, I don't know why I said mechanics, right? It's a bit of a weird word, but Nepal is going to be our first map. And, talking about intricacies of the game here, Nepal's pretty impactful. The previous 2 map types we've had, Oasis and Ilios, were pretty dive-based if you like playing the dive. Obviously, last game, played a bit of Roadhog, played a bit of Reinhardt, Sigma, that kind of stuff. Wasn't quite the meta picks, but Nepal here, we're going to see probably a lot more rush. Shrine and, I believe, Village are the 2 maps you'll probably see rush on. One of those you can probably see like a Rhine Sig on. You'll probably see like a Rhine Diva Symmetra composition on Village. So, like, how do you think that's going to impact the game here in terms of, like, the SR difference? Because I feel like a lower team has a bit of an advantage if they are playing Brawl, because it's so easy to play, and it's not, like, mechanically demanding.
Yeah, I mean, although it is easy to play, if you can play it well, then you can easily win. It's a bit weird. Like, it sounded better in my head. But like by what I mean by that is that if you know how to play it really well and you have great synergy and you have good ult usage, good fight planning, then it can go really well, because obviously Beep do have some higher players. They do have a GM player on support, and I've seen lots of teams have their main shot caller, their main fight planner on that support role, and I mean it can work, it can not work, it really depends. But if someone with a lot of experience, lots of scrum experience, lots of team experience can do that and sufficiently, they can definitely win Brawl. But Brawl is so much more like communication based than a lot of the other comps. It's much less about like pure mechanical skill. And if we look back onto that last game, Cats drinking soda, it was just pure like singular players were just doing so well individually, and that's why they were able to bring it through. Whereas in Brawl, it's so much more of a team effort.
It absolutely is. Very synergy based, and that could honestly favor Eminence. I say Eminence. I'm starting to call them Eminence because their team's so similar to Eminence. But their team name is Misery. So, yeah, like they have a lot of Eminence players. They are, pretty high level scrimming as well. Could be an advantage for them if they have that kind of team play for the rush. And just some quick facts about these teams. Beep, half of their team is Irish, which is actually pretty cool. We've got a half Irish team here, so there's another tournament you've played in, Hex, that had an Irish team. Not anymore, but yeah. I believe you played in that tournament on the Welsh team even.
I did play on that tournament on the Welsh team, yeah.
Yeah, Pog. But so half Irish team here, kind of halfway there. And Misery, they've given us a lot of fun facts here. They like cats, obviously. Who doesn't like cats? Hex, if you disagree with me, I'm going to punt you across a car park.
I do not disagree with you.
Good, good. And they also like the hit song Enemy by Imagine Dragons from the famous Netflix series Arcane, based on the popular game League of Legends.
I love how you just read that out word for word.
Yeah, well, as a little bit of a bet here, Hex, right? And for anyone in chat, listen up right now. Attention, attention. We have raised $250 for our charity LGBTQ plus Freedom Fund. If we get to $250 in the course of this cast, we are going to a cappella perform 3 lines of Enemy by Imagine Dragons mid-cast the moment we hit 250.
Oh God.
You did not agree to this, Hex, but now you do.
Yeah, you know, sure. Okay, I mean, whatever. I have no self-respect anyway, so might as well lose some more.
Okay, well, anyway, so yeah, we'll do the acapella version of that, of course, if we get 250. I'm assuming our producer will keep an eye on that to let us know. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Joe, let us know whenever we hit 250. But yeah, now we are going to be heading in to our first map. It's going to be in a poll here, Misery versus Beep. We're starting off on Sanctum, so all the stuff we were talking about on Village and Shrine probably won't apply here yet.
Yeah. And Sanctum's a very interesting map because it's just such a variety of comps that you can play. Because I mean, if you go to Village, it's pretty much just Brawl. Variations of Brawl can be played, but the safest bet is just Brawl or Rush. Whereas on Sanctum, this is Sanctum, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. On Sanctum, you can see so many different comps being played. I mean, right now, on Oh the Misery, it looks like they're going to be pulling out the 6-man, depending on who changes, because obviously they are still in spawn. And Beep are going to be putting out that kind of pokey rush with the Pharah right now. But again, it can change depending on what they do want to play, and they are still in spawn, but it's getting to the end. And Oh the Misery, yeah, they're going to be playing that really base. I like to call it Korean rush, but anyone can call it whatever they want. It's generally known as 6-man these days. And Beep are going with the more pokey Brawl with the Pharah, which just kind of pumps a ton of damage into the backline. But will that work against this 6-man?
It's a good question. I mean, Twist already goes down here, right? Just goes super aggressive, gets hacked up by Pandy, and they end up going down there, so that could end up being something big during this game, is this Sombra against the Reinhardt. So, Oh the Misery, they'll end up getting the first point cap, but it'll be a quick recontest here shortly.
Yeah, I mean, the difficulty with these two comps is you want to play 6-man really quickly, but I mean, Beep are going to be wanting to play their comp really slowly, so it's such a contrast.
It really is such a contrast, and you can see here exactly that, right? Oh the Misery just busting their way in, getting that big coalescence with Furby, catches 3 kills with it. They're looking for the Pharah and the Mercy, who are just on the stray sidelines as well. And Alpha Q almost just jumped off the map.
Luckily, they did get the boosters. But yeah, I mean, so the thing with the comp that Beep is playing with that Pharah is you need to play really slowly to get all the damage in and to allow that Pharah to pop off. But against 6-man is such a fast comp. You have the Diva and the Monkey, and then you have the Lucio to kind of like emphasize that. Window does come up now as we see the fight getting started.
And FrogChamp's here in the backline. Could let loose this barrage, but the Reaper Death Blossom comes through. Mini hits it onto FrogChamp. CJ is the one to get the kills instead. And by the looks of things, it looks like, again, that's just Misery coming out big in that team fight.
And Misery are literally just playing in their spawn. Like, there's nothing more... Oh, okay. FrogChamp does get a pick there onto the Diva, but they are going to have their bomb up soon. And there are a few autos coming up, actually. Gestural has what's it even called? Mercy ult up. Who knows? But we're gonna see already that Sombra ult come through.
Yeah, the EMP came through earlier there from Pandy. I didn't even expect that to happen. They get a few kills off of it. FrogChamp doesn't manage to make much work off of that barrage, and now 80% and counting.
Yeah, and I mean, there's not really much that Beep can do right now. It's just so one-sided to the side of Oh the Misery. I mean, they're just absolutely destroying Beep at the moment. And it's so sad to see because Beep had so much potential, but the comps just do not work.
Yeah, Alpha's going to be able to Wraith form towards the point right now, touches it up, but is going to be taking the duel against Mini, and basically everyone on the opposition gets taken down, or hunted down on that point. Bomb will come in here for Fracture, but nothing really gained off of it. It goes inside the Winston bubble, and you don't like trading a cooldown for an ultimate, I'll tell you that much, as it was flipped over, I'll give you that, but that's only going to buy a little bit more time there for the side of Beep. Elf, Sidar, and Jethro are going to be the ones trying to get back. Booped away is Jethro there, as it will be Sidar getting onto the point with a fade, but it's not enough there. Great boop comes through away from the point, actually. That's going to be the ball coming in, but I just think this is over. CJ and Furby jumped off the map expecting the OT to be over there, but Mini thankfully is here to get the cleanup. A second EMP here for Pandy as well. Has been amazing on this Sombra thus far.
Yeah, and I mean, Beeb just needs to change. I mean, like, there's not really much more that they could have done there, because with the Pharah, they committed into it too hard. You know, sometimes committing really hard into a comp and trying to make it work is really positive and can be really good. But in this situation, it was not it. It was not what they wanted to do. And after they were in spawn, they were so close to spawn anyway, they could have just walked back and maybe even mirrored, which I hope is what they could be doing now. But actually, it looks like the Misery are going to be changing up their composition to actually slightly more mirror the Beep.
Yeah, a slight bit more of a mirror. Obviously, you're going to see Misery go over to Mini on the Pharah. Pandy on the Symmetra probably swaps to like a Tracer or something, right? I know Mini's Tracer in the game earlier on, specifically on Route 66, was absolutely amazing, but now it's Pandy's turn to see what they can get done and see if Elf can match up to them on this hero. As it is basically a mirror, you know, the only difference here is the Sigma versus the D.Va. I prefer the Sigma here if you were playing a Cassidy or something like that, but right now they're just going to get ran over as Mini shoots in the shots. Hits two of them. Afak manages to catch Outsider as well. So, first cap will go over to the side of Misery, just like last time.
Yeah, and yet again, it's just a bit of a difference in their playstyles at this point, to be honest. The Misery just playing it really, really well. They're playing with their Pharah well. Pandy was doing a lot in the backline, and CJ less than 3 was also. You know, going into the back, getting a ton of chaos being made. Faradef looking to come through, but doesn't really find anything yet. And just still in the poke stage of the fight, currently waiting for the Bull Tour and the Tracer to engage for both teams, actually, which is a bit of a rarity to see. And Sigma from Beep just getting absolutely destroyed in the front line.
Fracture. Just gets pummeled down in that small room. It's so hard to play here for the side of B because of all that damage that comes in. CJ has a great choke to engage on there, and, you know, they make perfect use of it in that team fight as Twist is desperately trying to get away.
Yeah, and Twist just not really finding anything too much there. Just literally trying to get away from CJ on as the other ball. And CJ yet again going for Twist, and they do CJ does have their mines and they're gonna use it now. Looks like they are, but
no way. Mini gets slapped but woken up and gets 4 kills off the back of it. What a play. Oh my, just gets nano boosted up by Furby. Those two players combining excellently for a great team fight there, and once again we're heading into one fight territory.
Yeah, and we really are. There's not too much that Beep can do. Again they're being stubborn with their composition, not looking to change. Even still, when they only have 80 seconds, 80 ticks left on the point, Mini's just doing so much. It's ridiculous. They're hitting so many shots.
It really is, but now it's Frogchamp's turn to see what they can get done, taking the duel against Mini with the nano boost, but maybe the priorities are off here because they want to be going for the enemy backline at the minute. They did take down Furby, I'll give them that, but right now, Mini is ducking and weaving away from Frogchamp, can't hit the shots. Cider goes down here, but with a few ultimates online, Beep are going to have to try and invest to keep this one alive. They're dueling against Pandy on the point. Elf taking a lot of flak from that. 17 HP, needs to drop the pulse bomb somewhere. Could do it onto the Wrecking Ball, but not going to be able to get it in in time there as they're taken down by Pandy, and this right here is the opportunity, I think, that Misery need to get back into things as Pandy finds two. Poseidon and Twist are still here, trying to get stuff done. FrogChamp can let loose the barrage, gets Matrix stopping. Oh no, they unalive themselves there. Hits themselves with the rockets. And right now it looks like Misery, with just a matter of time, should be flipping this one back over. All that's going to be here is Elf once again with a pulse bomb, but they get shot by Mini. They've failed to get that pulse bomb off twice in a row now. Twist can come through with a recontest, but I don't think that's going to be enough here, honestly, for Beep to turn this one around. Looks like no one else is really there here for Beep. And there we have it. Misery take the first map pretty dominantly there and cop the first map of the series.
Yeah, and just at the end, CJ, I believe it was CJ, the opposition Farah who was on Beep. I cannot remember their name currently. But they had such a big opportunity in the backline with the barrage, and they couldn't really find anything. And I mean, if we see this, wow, this sucks.
Yeah.
The positioning is just insane not to get found. Well, not to get found, but not to get taken out. As a Farah.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue they did get taken out, but then woken back up, right? To be fair, like the sleep there for Sidar was absolutely brilliant. It hits perfectly. It's just the problem of your D.Va shooting at the slept target as they get slept, right? Pretty weird interaction there where there's not like a cooldown. So the D.Va will literally just wake it up immediately. A bit unfortunate there, but to be fair, I think the strong suit there for Beep, other than the team fights they were getting absolutely mauled by Mini and Pandy, was Sidar and Gestrel. I felt like Beep had a lot going for them in terms of their support line and being able to get value out of those. So hopefully they can keep that going up into the next map. Of course, it will be Escort as the map type. And if I had to guess, we're probably going to see something like a Rialto again. It tends to be what you run in scrims a lot of the time, right? Either Rialto or Dorado, I think, are the two best ones.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Rialto in that last match, which was Cats drinking soda versus... It was Mince's Money Crew, I believe their name was. And now we're actually going to Route 66. And this is an interesting map, right? Because between attack and defense, there's a lot of different things you can play, because people tend to lean towards the double shield and defense depending on your preference. And it works sometimes. It works if you play it right, which you could be said for any comp. But a lot of the time, you're playing double shield into dive, which isn't super common. And it's interesting to see how teams like to deal with that, right? Because you need a lot of coordination on the dive, especially between the tanks and the supports, and the tank and the tank, depending on what dive composition you go for. And there are so many variables to it. And on the double shield, of course, you just have to hold your ground well and see how it goes. But if Beep can find the coordination here that they need and the coordination they're looking for, they could potentially find a win here, and I would love to see it personally.
Yeah, I mean, being on a stream game, there's a lot of pressure here for a reverse sweep to happen on the part of Beep. Has been a side swap, I believe, as they go over to the attack on Route 66. They don't get to pick the side. That was, of course, the Misery, who managed to pick the side there. They choose defense on Route 66. I think pretty standard here. I don't think you expect anything different anyway, and it really benefits you if you can get a full hold on the defense. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't want to, jinx anything here, but with how they've been playing, I mean, Route 66 as well being a very angle-heavy map, right? The DPS can get a lot done here.
Yeah, and I mean, Pandy is going with that Ashe on the side of the Misery. And we're seeing again the Tracer from Elf, FrogChamp onto the Soldier. They were playing the Farah last map. But Soldier now, a bit of a different playstyle, really different playstyle actually. Especially playing Soldier. I recognize the rest of the composition. They're going to be playing Soldier or looking to play Soldier, with double bubble, which isn't super common. You'd normally see something which kind of complement the tank comp here. Which does work for Pandy with that Sigma. But Pandy isn't going to have an Ashe pocket, or isn't going to have a Mercy pocket for their Ashe here. Instead, they're going to be... Okay, well, they're going to find a pick anyway.
Yeah, they don't need the Mercy pocket. They already take down their opposing number on the hit scan, so... not really needed there for Pandy, especially when they're hitting shots like that. What is going on here, Pandy? Already doing just crazy stuff here on Route 66.
Yeah, that's the end of a fight already, just from 2 picks coming out from Pandy. Oh, maybe not the end of a fight, but the end of what could have been a fight. And Beep just need to engage here. That's all they want. They just need to find a way to engage properly without getting countered by everything that's going on. I mean, AKQ, sorry, on that Sigma for Oh the Misery is just holding down that tunnel so well.
Yeah, that's it's great positioning here, honestly, from a fact to make sure that it's holding down this tunnel. Nothing can be done here by the attacking side. They're just being tossed around in their own spawn room at the minute as CJ Less Than 3 is doing a lot of work in disruption there, mines the spawn doors, blocks off Fracture's escape, which takes them down. And now their ultimate is going to start getting online. It's going to be even more oppressive here for the defensive side.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's kind of just a repeat of what happened on that first map on Nepal with Oh the Misery just holding down the spawn doors, specifically CJ, who is just making a complete chaotic mess in the backline.
Yeah, the CJ again batting everyone around, bats him into Mini there, which is an excellent play. What a cross angle. Mini on one side, CJ on the other, stuck between a rock and a hard place, and 2 go down. So, Oh the Misery, they are once again just playing pretty dominantly up to these spawn doors. They actually go a little bit too close to the sun that time, though.
Yeah, a little bit overconfident maybe there, but they don't need to worry because they'll be respawning as soon as they want. And
a fact. The flying flux, I mean, why not? Sidor misses a sleep dart uncharacteristically. It has a pulse bomb combined with it. Mini hits it mid-air onto Jessrel as they're slamming it to the ground. Nothing they can do there. No rally to save them either. As Twist manages to tread onto a fact, but what does that matter? The positioning here is just so oppressive for Oh the Misery.
Yeah, there's nothing to really talk about here. It's just like a bit of domination from Oh the Misery coming through yet again. And Beep are just finding it so hard to engage, and again, they're not changing their composition. They could be changing to something, maybe Monkey Diva to just run straight into this, or even Ryan and go through the tunnel. They do find a nano onto the monkey here. This could work.
Yep, and it's gonna be Pandy here, hitting the Ash Dynamite into the tube. Primal Rage gonna get bursted immediately there. Yeah, Fracture just goes down in an instant, and the bash there onto Alf is good. The rally is invested here from Jessrel, probably just to keep themselves alive in their own spawn room and have something going for the next fight.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard for Beep here. There's not enough that you can do, and I really don't understand why they haven't changed composition yet. Because they really should be looking to change, because it looks like it's a problem. I mean, they're not even getting counted individually. It's just a comp difference here. But I mean, to be fair, Mini is doing so much as well as Pandy. Those DPS are just absolutely obliterating everyone on the enemy team.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, I didn't want to jinx it, but the full hold definitely possible here, as Mini with this pulse bomb is going to be looking to probably get an early kill in the spawn room here. This could be deadly if they just drop down, send it in, and recall away. Starting to get some info on where the players are situated as well. Gonna shoot the pulse bomb onto the Zarya. It takes down Twist immediately, as this is a tag visor from Frogshamp trying to turn things around, but they're gonna get bursted down by Mini, who is just being an absolute menace in the backline at the minute. Twist can't invest this Graviton Surge because they're in the spawn room at the minute. They would love to have that to deal with some of the disruption that's coming on right now, but hey, no Graviton Surge. You're not able to deal with the Wrecking Ball. Finally gets thrown in, but a little bit too late. And that right there is a full hold from Oh the Misery, and they only have 17 meters to push here, Hex.
Wow. And I mean, there was nothing that Beep could do at that point with what was going on in the different teams. And I mean, last game we had an interview with one of the players from Cats Drinking Soda, and they were, you know, the main Tracer player on that team. And they were just saying that as Tracer, you need to think. You need to not think. You just do. It's all doing, no thinking, and that's what we saw from Mini there. They were just kind of running around. Everything was happening so fast. You have no time to think, because if you think, this is what I can't remember exactly who it was, because it was, you know, like an hour ago, and my brain doesn't work that long. But they were just saying that if you think, you're dead, and it's what we saw from Mini, who is actually going on the Han zone now. Um, love to see Hanzo's face up close. Well, Coffee is going to be playing the Mercy here, and I'm not too sure who they're going to be pocketing. On the side of the Misery, probably Pandy, considering how much mechanical skill they do have. But no, okay, they're not going to be playing the Mercy. They were baiting us. And we're going to be seeing pretty much pure rush brawl from Beep. And I'm not sure if this is going to work, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they've got no choice, right? They've got a hold at the spawn, so you might as well do it with a rush composition, but they've been spotted out early on, so FrogChamp going to try and get this freeze over onto Mini. Is going to cop that kill, actually. Great stuff there, but Fracture got hooked on the sideline, and so did Jesthrol. 2 players down immediately here, and it looks like Beep are going to be falling one by one. They do get a couple of kills back as Pandy and Furby scattered here, there, and everywhere, but CJ being in the backline is going to be a thorn in Beep's side. They need to be aware of this Roadhog, make sure they're doing something about it, but the payload is already approaching its destination at just 12 meters. Only about 5 to go as Afak is going to dive in there, deal some disruption, and give their teammates some opportunities to get in there. Pandy, the Seismic Slam hits close to home there for Elf and manages to take them out. That'll be Sidor falling as well, and I think this is about it here, Hex. Oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be their enemy, clearly, but doesn't matter because they still end up winning either way. And that right there is Beep going down on Route 66. Oh, the misery. Take the series 2-0.
Toasty, you wanted to say that for a long time, I can tell. And right, it was a perfect moment to use that little joke there. I mean, look at Mini here. Just incredible Tracer gameplay.
This was just so... what the heck?
No one turned around to look at Mini there, and you know, half the team was already dead by the time they even noticed Mini in the back line. It was just incredible from Oh the Misery. There wasn't really much that Beep could have done. Again, you know, they were a bit stubborn with their compositional changes, which maybe they could have changed to potentially find a bit more stability, but maybe they just wanted to go with what they were comfortable with, which is fair enough. Because if you haven't really practiced something else that might counter the comp, and you think you might even play it worse than the other one, you know, it could be better. But Toasty, we've reached 250.
Oh no!
Someone had to.
I don't even know the lyrics.
Neither do I. I'm gonna have to look it up here.
Lyrics. Let's say. Oh wait, no, wait. Is this? Oh, this is the Maroon 5 version. We're not singing the Maroon 5 version. Just so you know, it's "Enemy" by Imagine Dragons. We're singing. We'll do 3 lines.
Just so you know,
right?
before I like absolutely destroy your eardrums, I'm a terrible singer.
Okay. Well, we're only doing 3 lines. We're doing the big 3 lines. Do you want to go first, Hex?
Oh god, can I just do the 2? The 2 famous ones.
Okay, sure, but like put all your heart into it, Hex.
Wait. Let me listen to the song first because I want context.
We can't play it on stream though, just so you know.
No, I know.
Anyway, I'll probably do mine as like an opera singer. So here we go. I'll do mine first. Oh, the misery! Everybody wants to be my enemy. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy.
Oh god. Okay. Toasty, that was incredible.
That was incredible. I should really be an opera singer.
I'm maybe not opera, but definitely some sort of singer. Okay, it's my turn now. And you know, someone lay down a beat for me.
Boots and cats and boots and cats and... That's not how it goes, is
Oh,
it?
the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Spare the sympathy. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Oh, incredible.
Nice. We're breaking it down on broadcast. Oh, nice. Love to see it.
You know, I think I should be a singer in Imagine Dragons actually, because after they see that they'll be like, yo, this guy, wow.
Hi Twitter, by the way. Hi Twitter. We know this is going on Twitter.
Oh, is it? Oh my god.
This is definitely going on Twitter.
I'm never gonna recover from this. People have told me that anything that goes on the internet stays on the internet, so
Yeah, well, unfortunate, I guess, but yeah, congrats to Misery for winning, and also thank you for getting us to 250 as well, right?
Yeah.
Whoever donated that, I'm gonna check the till to find now just to check it, but yeah, thank you so much for the donations. It really means a lot because like we've been planning this for like weeks on end. There's been a lot that's gone into the behind the scenes of this. I remember last night everyone in the tournament was like, "Oh my god, it's last minute. We need to get everything done now." So we've been putting a lot of work in. It's great we can be raising a lot of money off of the back of this. Let's see
as for me,
exactly
I
who
just kind of
donated.
turn up and talk about Overwatch, but
Yeah.
I really appreciate the cause as well because
Ooh, okay. So I'll shout out all of our donations here for the first day. We'll redo it for like tomorrow. We'll also like shout out donations on that day. So obviously before the broadcast even started, we had Mama Shimada doing $100 donation. That's our top donation right now, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. So thank you, Mama Shimada, for that. I believe the most recent one was Ed Farr. Also saying, "Uh-oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy. Uh-oh, the misery. Everybody wants to be my enemy." So. Thank you for that $35 donation, also making us say those lines multiple times during this cast. Mike Johnson, $50. Thank you for that. Lizen, $5. Thank you so much for that. Chub Chiller also gave $50. A lot of money coming in here for the charity. CJ Less Than 3, obviously earlier on after their game, donated with $10. So yeah, thank you to everyone we just listed. Great stuff. I'm glad we can at least raise like $250. That's a lot, right?
yeah, I mean it's such an important cause to so many people.
Yeah.
Everyone participating in this tournament, me personally as well, a lot of people in Altiora as well, and it's such a good thing to A, raise awareness for, and B, to just be a part of, because the community of the whole LGBT community, although every community like it does have some negative aspects, most of it is so positive and brings so much happiness and so much support to people who are struggling.
Yeah, absolutely, and like the charity itself, right? I mean, it does a lot in terms of like I think it provides bail money for people who get incriminated and have to like, because especially for like LGBTQ plus people, it's really important to like get out of jail when you need to bail yourself out, right? Because they keep you there until the court, basically, in that holding cell or whatever it is. So it depends on the country, I believe, but yeah. It's really important that LGBTQ people don't stay in there because there's a lot of stuff that can happen in there. Some stuff that's content warning-y, so I'm not going to mention it here, but it's not the nicest thing to be stuck in a jail cell. So it's great that they're putting money towards that, and I'm glad we could get some donations going for that. And we're going to have an interview coming in here now, charity aside, unfortunately for the minute. We're going to get an interview from CJ, from the team of the Misery. How's it going, CJ?
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I was expecting you to drag me in so quick. Hello.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to surprise you.
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good.
Nice.
We are hoping to get a good run back to losers bracket.
Oh yeah, always love a lower bracket run. Always love a lower bracket run. Obviously, you won the first game of the day, and you've been on stream for the second time and won it dominantly as well. What was your kind of like mentality going into this game, right? As kind of like the do or die elimination match situation.
I think we just played it as like a normal game, kind of. We just go in, see what we can do. I mean, we don't really think about if we're going to lose, what happens. We just kind of play the game. So feel like
Fair enough.
as if it was a scrim.
I think that's such a good mindset to have because it means you're always going to try your hardest no matter what. And I mean, obviously you got lucky there, or not lucky, but like you did well there and managed to get that win and have a consistent reign really in that situation. But if you are on the losing end and you think of it like a scrim and you stay calm, it's such a good attitude to have. And it really helps. And I mean, CJ, you did so well on the ball, especially there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you just created so much chaos in the back line, and that's what a ball's for, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just to set up your DPS to go, and also like especially when we're playing Sombra earlier, it really helps that like I know exactly where they are because Pan using is like really good at calling out where the team are rotating, where they're setting up. So it's really helpful to have that. They're really good at calming where they are and stuff like that, and counting 3, 2, 1, so I can go.
Yeah, there was like a moment at the end of Route 66 there I was talking about where like you literally just slammed 2 players into Mini and Mini cleaned up. It was beautiful, honestly, to watch. I'm glad I called that on the observing end. So very nice stuff today. Now, going into the next few games in the bracket, of course, you've got at least 3 games. In fact, yeah, you've got 3 games to play before you get to the finals. Obviously, that includes the finals itself. Do you think you can get there?
100%. Yeah, I think we're still very confident that we can at least make it to grands. I think we can. We feel like we can win the run back against the as well. So I think we're feeling confident to at least make it to grands.
Well, I hope to see you in Grands tomorrow then, since that's we're going to be broadcasting all the games tomorrow as well. So should hopefully see you in lower bracket and Grands. You'll be getting a lot of stream exposure tomorrow, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I mean, congrats on your win today. I think that'll wrap it up for the interview unless Hex has anything to say.
I mean, I wanted to ask CJ if you have any last words other than what you were just saying.
I just want to say like GG's to everyone we played so far. I know I'm Irish as well, and I know a lot of the players on the enemy team. We played together a bunch on Beep, so they played really well and stuff like that. So, and also I want to shout out our manager Ajax as well, because they've been doing very well and helping us get scrims and stuff. So
yeah. I mean, Ajax has been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well. Ajax made all these beautiful graphics you're seeing on your screen right now, right? I mean, the cam scene, we've seen the rosters scene today, like everything is looking clean today. So that's all thanks to Ajax and Firin and, you know, just basically everyone who works on this tournament. But yeah, thank you for that, CJ. You know, big shout out to Ajax and thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
All right, and Hex, you know, that should wrap things up for us today. You know, we've got Overwatch League to watch. I know I want to, you know, watch that. I don't know what teams are playing, but either way. And we also have the NA games happening later tonight as well. That's going to be cool because that's our bigger region, and unfortunately we can't stream all of the games there. We will be recording some and uploading them at a later date, so we will have a good bit of coverage there.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be seeing you guys again because this is my only cast this week, and there are so many good talent casters. So thank you Altiora for hosting me, and thank you Toasty and Joe. I know you guys don't know about Joe, but he's there. So thank you all, and thank you for all the donations as well. It's really great to see so many people supporting a cause like this. And yeah, Toasty, if you want to finish up, that's enough from me.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it from me pretty much. So thank you all for coming along. Thank you, chat, as well, for, of course, being here throughout the journey today. It's not over yet, though. We're only a quarter of the way through the tournament. So we hope to see you on the NA broadcast later tonight. That will end up going live at 9 p.m. EST. That's a game time start. Obviously, we'll have the desk before it at 8:40 p.m. EST. So make sure you stick around for that. Well, that's been it for us today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you then.